You can only do one bingo card at a time. It's an honor system, but only do one bingo card, chat. I'm not trying to call anyone out. Someone just said in chat that they had 2 bingo cards up. You should only do 1. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Ooh. Ugh. Ooh. Hi, everyone. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another episode of Chud Watch. I'm struggling with a sticker currently, so give me a second. I ordered this sticker from Etsy, and it's pretty cute. It's a trans, sticker that says, roll a new character with advantage. And I'm trying to get the back off so I can put it on my computer, and I'm having trouble. Would anyone from chat like to come to my house and do this sticker for me? Ooh, hype train. MW1642, thank you for subscribing for 11 months, says 1 month away from my anniversary. Ooh, I like that. I'm gonna steal that. Casual Snark, thanks for subscribing for 4 months. Meru Samo of 20 bits says, hey chat, got us a kitty cleanse for later. Nice. The Marusama again says the link didn't work, here's more bits. Actually, it did work for me the first time, so interesting. Princess Amelia, thank you for gifting a sub. MW1642, thank you for 110 bits. RTK says, can we get the address for the Etsy shop? I don't know it off the top of my head. Oh, actually, I do, because they gave me a card and stuff. I understand why. It's a practical concern, because it's a sticker, so they put it in this thing, but it's a nice little card. It's Allison Wright Artistry. I think they have a bunch of other stickers and stuff, too, so check it out, I guess, if you'd like. Pyromancer says, got my second dose of the vaccine today. Congratulations. My first dose is Friday. Got the worst thing ever. Okay, we were gonna look at Right Wing Watch later anyway, but accuses George Soros of ruining the wonderful nation of South Africa by providing scholarships to black students during the height of apartheid. Yikes. Casual Snark with 100 bits. Profane Priestess with 20 bits says, happy first contact day, have bits. Thank you. It is first contact day. That's nice.
Yay! You're very talented.
Is this a copyrighted song? I'm gonna hope not. I hope it's just a drum beat.
Damn, she's good. Yay! You're very talented.
Cute.
Africa, and look what you remember in South Africa, that was a colony of Great Britain. It had a monarchy, a tradition of monarchy there for many, many years. And South Africa was a wonderful nation. But it was a closed society. It had a queen. It had an identity with the Commonwealth, with Great Britain. It was identified there. It had traditions. It had its own history.
Is he unironically doing a colonialism was good actually argument? Yikes.
Soros said these words, and I quote, where could I find a better opportunity for opening up a closed society? So he brings his money down to South Africa, and he funds the university with scholarships for black youth in apartheid South Africa. When he opens that school, he changes South Africa, and look what he did down there.
Am I supposed to think that's a bad thing, that he helped get education to people who are being discriminated against? Yikes. Aaron4464, thank you for subscribing for 2 months. MMO Addicted says, I have $1,000 technically available. To bean or not to bean? That is the question. Do I value my financial security or memes more? Don't give me the money if you can't afford it. Also, the beans sound terrible, but I will do it if you give me the money. Yikes. Let me see. Are we and Jake freed from Dave Rubin's bullshit? Yep, now we just gotta start Peterson's bullshit. Ooh, the sticker back is finally coming off. Heck yeah. My work is paying off. Profane Priestess says, guess my keyboard is outing my kinks because of the accidental daddy typo that I corrected. We're at 75% of level 2 with only 30 seconds left. Someone gift subs.
Look at the division
Or
that
something.
came between the white South Africans and the black South. Now they're killing them by the thousands, taking their land. Why? Because he divided South Africa with the
Yeah, Soros did that, not the apartheid state. Jesus Christ.
society. Remove the culture, remove the law, remove the foundation of the society, turn the races against one another, and then you take the nation and you create now an open society.
Oh, I think it was not quite quick enough. Dang it! Pyromancer did it just a little too late. RTK142, thanks for 20 bits. Pyromancer, thanks for gifting 5 subs. Bryceit05, thanks for subscribing at tier 1. MW1642, thank you for gifting a sub. MMO Addicted says, I'll let the beans stew for a couple months more. When is their best before date? Let me look. 2023. April 2023. Mind if I ask where you got the shirt? Sarah, actually. So I don't know where it's from. I think Hot Topic is on the tag, actually. I think it's Hot Topic. Pyromancer says, I blame Twitch processing. Yeah, maybe. Okay, I gotta stick this somewhere. There we go. Yeah. You know, I used to have a thing about, oh, I need my computer or whatever to be in pristine condition. I can't put anything on it. What if I want to resell it? Fuck that. It's my computer. I'm gonna stick stickers on it, okay? Cute. Are we allowed to crowdfund you to eat those beans? I suppose. It would have to all be, like, at once, though. You can't, like, put it on layaway. MMO Addicted says, I'm making an official promise. 1st of April 2023 is Bean Day. Why you gotta wait till they're almost expired? If you're gonna make me eat the beans, at least do it when they're good. Kirthan, thank you for subscribing for 7 months. Says, my Zoom class just crashed. It's Twitch time. Mixed Gothy Queer says, level 1 means you get 1 hat, make it the steampunk hat, since you don't seem to be feeling your hair today. I don't want to get hat hair. I'm going and hanging out with someone later. And I don't want to look like I've been wearing a hat all day. Pyromancer says, good. Is it the Dr. Pepper beans? These are the Dr. Pepper beans, yes. Plus, the part of my hair that I'm not happy with today is this. Like, I put stuff in it to try and make it less, but it's wispy, looks dry. I gotta re-put more stuff in it, I think. Did I go see Miss Frizzle? Just call me Miss Frizz because of all this. MMO Addicted says, Hannah, I'm Polish. I explained to you. We feed on suffering. Also, think for a moment. What is on the 1st of April? I know. April Fools. I get it. That XY girl says, the baby cometh, Hannah, with a 6-month streak. 7 months, but a 6-month streak. So we're getting close. We've entered the 3rd trimester of the sub, baby. Is the humidity unbearable up there? It's actually not bad right now. My hair just does this. Hold on. I'll do it on stream. I'll show you guys some of my hair care. We'll try and defrizz this a bit, okay? This is Super Hair Shine Shea Butter. Great for sleek, smooth styles. Help minimize breakage and split ends. Wing the Ultimate Nug, thank you for subscribing for 10 months as our baby is 1 month old. How's the baby doing? Sorry for the no child support. I hate my children though, so. Hopefully this will knock a little bit of the frizziness out. Pyromancer says package is listed as arriving by April 10th. Expect cat hat. Alright, we gotta do a PO unboxing soon. XY Girl says, argan oil is good for smoothing and shininess if you're okay with oily feeling on your hands. This does that too. It's fine. I'm more concerned for my mouse than my hands. Probably Lannister says, Hannah, I would recommend not combing your hair. It might be wavy curly. It is wavy and curly. I don't. I use like a wide tooth comb in the shower to detangle, but I don't actually like brush it. It's just not curling up today. I have curl activator too, but I haven't put that in today. I probably need to in a little bit or something. It was actually really curly earlier, but it's not right now. I don't know. Do I dry my hair with a cotton t-shirt? Either that. Usually I let it air dry. Sorry, this is probably boring for a lot of guys in the audience. My audience is mostly men, and men tend to not give a shit about this stuff. I say tend to. I let it air dry, or I use a diffuser on a blow dryer. But if I was to, I know I'm supposed to use like a cotton t-shirt. I never do it with like a towel, if that's what you're asking, because I know that dries it out really bad. What changed about my hair on hormones? Curious because my hair is a big dysphoria point. I feel like it started growing faster. Even though I'm still pretty poofy, it is actually less dry than it used to be. But I think a lot of that's due to like hair care stuff more so than actual, you know, hormonal changes. I don't know though. I feel like it's longer than it ever would have been able to get, without the hormones. So that's something, but I don't know a ton about the hair stuff. Pyromancer says, I keep my have gone because I can't be bothered to deal with curls. Yeah, I get it, but I like long hair a lot, so. Altered Rin says, I have wavy hair, but I only brush it. I don't use a comb. What should I do? I do wide tooth comb. I'll get mine to show you. Hold on. So, I used to brush my hair a lot, and it was damaging it. I have really curly hair. So I stopped doing that, and instead I have a very wide tooth comb like this. This is basically strictly just for like parting it correctly when it's all crazy in the morning, and a detangling every once in a while or when I'm in the shower. This is the only comb I use, and I try not to use it very often. And I have like a normal comb, but this is strictly for my bangs. But that's it. This does not touch any other part of my hair, so. Did I see the new Loki trailer? Yeah, it looks really good. The Marvel shows have been great so far. WandaVision I really enjoyed, and I've been loving Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so. I think Loki will be good. The trailer looks fun. I like, what's his face? Wow! Owen Wilson. I like that guy. RTK says, speaking of hair, at dinner yesterday, my aunt noticed I'm starting to grow mine out again. She has no clue what's coming. Jaws theme song ominously in the background, but it's trans. But, thank you, Baha. I hope your lab stuff is going well. Yeah, testosterone can lead to, I mean, that's where male pattern baldness, I mean, I think it's genetic also, but, like, high testosterone can lead to male pattern baldness. And I already had, there's a reason I have bangs. It's because prior to transitioning, my hairline was receding, and it's still relatively high. But, the T blockers and the estrogen have basically stopped the receding, and even some of it filled back in. Just a little bit, not a lot, but it's good. I really, I wish I would have started transitioning earlier, but I think I caught that at an opportune time in terms of I'm glad I didn't wait till later, let me put it that way. Because I like my hair. I mean, there's nothing wrong with, like, if you just don't want to deal with it or you can or whatever, doing wigs, that's completely fine. They make really great wigs now, if that's what you want to do. I'd prefer to just have my natural hair, but, you know, to each their own. You're back at your apartment? Oh, okay, good. Do I plan on getting hair plugs in the future? Not anytime soon. It would be very low on my list of priorities. AW Ghost 82 says, I'm a bit jealous of your ability to pull off bangs. They work on you. Thank you. Pyromancer says, long hair, the bane of shower drains and sinks. You would not believe the disgusting things I've pulled out of drains. Baja has two at my house. It's nasty. It's bad. You ever get one of those butt crack hairs? Like you're just walking around or something, or you're in a shower, and you're like, and you pull out like a hair that's like this long from your butt crack, and you're like, where did that come from? I don't know if Baja's ever gotten one of my hairs in her butt crack. Alright, let's take a look at what we're watching today, I guess. Looking at, I thought we'd look into the Matt Gaetz situation. I know the broad strokes, but I did want to look at some articles together to get a more specific picture of what's going on with the Matt Gaetz child trafficking thing, or sex trafficking, whatever you want to call it. She was 17. And some other stuff's going on, I guess. I don't know. So we'll take a look at that. We'll do some of the right-wing cope stuff. Did I somehow get rid of... No, there it is. Okay. Vegan teachers, still a thing. Kaitlin Bennett versus Lil Nas X.
He's obsessed.
Which is a little funny. So we'll take a look at that. Elliot Hulse has a video entitled Women Who Won't Submit. So I imagine that'll be pretty bad. Tate Speech has some short videos that I thought we could look at. Terrence Pop has a video, Where We're Headed. I assume this is going to be him dooming. This is just like a Jesus video from Destiny Image, which is like a evangelical right-wing YouTube channel. I just thought it piqued my interest because it says, did ever a man die like Jesus? And my first thought was, yes, crucifixion was a pretty common method of execution for the Romans, but thought I'd take a look at that. And then maybe we'll get to this, maybe we won't. Tim Pool talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene claiming that vaccine passports are the mark of the beast. Let's see how Tim tries to be a... I don't even know what he's trying to be anymore on that one. Lily Love Stuff says... Hold on 1 second. Where is the music? There it is. Lily Love Stuff says, as someone who used to have knee-length curls, I can tell you all about the butt crack hairs. Yes, you have long hair and I have short hair, so any butt crack hair I find is yours. Yeah, well, you're welcome. It's a gift, Baja. Okay. Made a meme. Okay, I'll hold on to that for later. Alright, let's get started then. My hair looks a lot better now that I put that stuff in it. Okay, let's get started with right-wing cope. It's been a week or so, so we should check it out. Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson announces he vetoed anti-trans bill HB 1570. Hutchinson says the bill was overloaded, restricting people's decisions, and sent a message about Arkansas that he did not want to send. At the same time, he notes that the legislature can still make an override vote by a simple majority. Notable that Hutchinson said specifically that he wants transgender people in the state to know they're loved, albeit in an answer defending his signing of the other two pieces of legislation that subject trans people to differential treatment. What's next? HB 1570 passed overwhelmingly in both chambers, so unless one chamber decides not to override, meaning a ton of lawmakers change their vote in the light of Hutchinson's veto, it could still become law. This is possible. It happened with another bill. It'll probably become law, but still, nonetheless, good for that guy.
Hello? Is this the goddamn base department?
Jesus Christ, I hate Destiny. Someone sent this link. YouTube is letting a group fundraise off a kid that tells parents to reject their trans kid. Video has been viewed more than 1.5 million times. They've made over $50,000. PragerU is not an actual institution of higher learning. Quite the contrary. It's a right-wing propaganda outfit that spreads far-right misinformation online. But in an especially egregious violation of their own terms of service, YouTube is allowing the group to fundraise off a video that tells parents to reject their transgender kids because the children have been brainwashed by social media. The 5-minute video features anti-trans author Abigail Schreier, oh, that lady, and runs through a litany of bogus facts cherry-picked to fit her assertions. Some of these statistics and statements she made are verifiably false. Schreier testified as a Republican expert during a Senate committee hearing on the Equality Act, landmark civil rights legislation for the LGBTQ people. Her testimony deliberately used incorrect pronouns and demeaning language to oppose the bill. The video focused on youth while referring to them as children to make them seem younger. It particularly focuses on trans boys, describing them as girls to reinforce the conservative ethos that women should be protected from nefarious forces who want to violate their bodies. Quote, 10 years ago, it was unlikely that you knew someone who identified as transgender. Today, it's unlikely that you don't know someone who identifies as transgender. Wow, it's almost like people are more comfortable coming out now because society is becoming more tolerant. Weird. This is especially true of teenage girls. The video's description reads, saying that Schreier, quote, analyzes this disturbing trend and its implications, end quote. This video has been viewed more than 1.5 million times as of publication. Not far above the description is the notice that the video was part of a fundraising push by the group. The sidebar shows PragerU has raised almost $53,000 from the solicitation that denigrates troubled girls, end quote, who, quote, buy into the fantasy that gender transition is the answer, end quote. While the site has previously removed the videos and PragerU promotes that fact as proof of how dangerous and truthful they are, this one has been allowed to remain. YouTube's giving program rules require that content providers follow the site terms of service that supposedly protects transgender people from untrue and denigrating explainers like this one. Twitter and Facebook have similar restrictions on anti-transgender content posted to the sites. The video was tweeted by PragerU and remains online at publication. The video was also posted to their Facebook page without repercussion. That really, really sucks. Hopefully YouTube will do something, but they won't, because it's YouTube, and YouTube is trash. Oops, sorry, one sec. Okay, let's see what's next.
Have one life and you're gonna waste it listening. You really only have one life and you're gonna waste it listening to degenerate.
Yeah, see, I don't like that. Let me tell you.
Degenerate rap? Are you serious? What is this, the 1980s, 90s?
Why? See, I grew up in southern India.
Baja says, you're incredibly beautiful today, every day, but today in particular. I'm so lucky I get to see your face every day for the rest of my life. Oh, thank you, Baja.
Indiana, meaning a good amount of my childhood consisted of listening to country music. And for those of you who don't know, country music is not very clean. The songs talk about sex a lot. And there's also a ton of references to substances, both legal and illegal. Like, a lot of references. So naturally, I'm curious as to why rap music was the one they singled out as being degenerate. That being said, I do have a working theory.
Really?
That's pretty good. Wolfenstein says, make America Nazi-free again. Because this is Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, when they tweeted this, and the plot of that game, if you don't know, is that it's like an alt timeline where the Nazis won and took over America. So they're talking about their video game. Levi de Rossier says, cool, didn't know Bethesda teamed up with SJWs and Antifa. Defending Nazism, literal Nazism, not even neo-Nazism, defending fictional alt history Nazis to own the libs. The right's nailing it lately. Ma Free Stuff says, women's suffrage was a mistake. No future civilization make again. Oh, good grammar. Proof, 2020 women's votes. Oh, the proof that they think women shouldn't vote is that women vote for people they didn't vote for. Beautiful. It's always a good move to try and take away voting rights from people you disagree with. That's definitely the point of democracy. Goddamn, am I glad this is caught on around here. Women are the biggest teenagers in the house. Oh, that's good. Infantilize 50% of the population. That's another good strategy. It's not really catching on. I'm just the loudest voice. I will always get the white knights to roll up here in squads, though. These dang white knights? Like Susan B. Anthony? What the fuck? Don't worry, I'll come out swinging if people's our arguments are sound. What is the grammar? There is zero benefit for women being given the right to vote besides my feels. What happened to no taxation without representation? Are women exempt from taxes now? I'm on board. I like the list of companies to boycott. Cancel culture will not take over. Have you guys seen this shit? There's like a list of companies that conservatives aren't supposed to solicit, the businesses they're not supposed to go to because they want to stop cancel culture. I used the cancel culture to stop the cancel culture. There was an abortion argument in class, and when someone said, they're killing the baby, I instantly said, let's go, in a da-baby voice out of instinct. What is wrong with me? Hey, that's pretty good. There's someone whose entire identity is wrapped up in a failed politician, so that's sad. It's always Florida. It's always Florida. Obama has been to more basketball games than times he's been to Israel. Okay? Yeah, I imagine most people have been to more sports games than they have been to Israel. Unless you live in Israel. What? Charlie Kirk says it amazes me the total misunderstanding of Marxism. Seriously? And then ellipses, but it's like a double ellipses. Okay. Yeah, they did a whole thing where they were getting accounts, racist accounts banned, basically. So that's good. Oh god, look at this one. So this is a Pepe, who's an alt-writer, with a slingshot, like he's Bart Simpson, a spray paint can, a skateboard that has an America First sticker and a Trump sticker, and he's wearing a MAGA hat backwards, and apparently the ADL, this is the ADL headquarters or something, which is stormtroopers, because clearly the Anti-Defamation League is akin to Nazis. Because, of course, stormtroopers are analogous to, you know, you've seen the Star Wars. You get it. Traitors, liars. Oh, no. Oh, and he's got a Christian necklace on, too. Beautiful. It does have Tim Pool energy. That frog is, in fact, Tim Pool. You're hiding unvaccinated people under your floorboards, aren't you? Imagine being such a piece of shit that you compare you not even being forced, but being told, like, hey, you should probably get a vaccination, not just for your health and the people around you, but for society as a whole. It would be a responsible thing to do. And your response is to be like, you're a Nazi for telling me to take medicine. I'm literally as oppressed as Jewish people during the Holocaust. Friggin' babies. This was going around. I saw this actually on the Great Awakening site, which is a QAnon board. They said, anyone able to travel to DC around May 5th, please let me know. We're having a rally. Be Griffin careful, honey pot potential high. Please provide more info on 5-5 plans. I was there on 1-6, that being the date of the Capitol insurrection attempt. Would be interesting in hearing more. And then they said, I'm in WebEX right now with the organization. It's getting planned right now. They will rent at least one bus and leave Dallas, where they're based, on the 5th and have the rally on the 8th. I will continue updating everybody as more info comes out. So I did see this actual thread in context. They were talking about some group that's trying to sue. I don't remember specifically who they're suing. I think they're trying to sue basically all 50 states for the election. And they filed some sort of lawsuit in DC or something. And they're going to go to DC to do a rally for that. This post said the 5th. And then posts under this, they replied and said, okay, it's going to be later because Congress isn't in session that week or something. So they are planning on going to DC and doing some sort of protest. Hopefully it remains a protest and not another instance of people dying because of right-wing cult idiots, but you never know. So keep an eye on that. The New York Times said Gaetz, that being Matt Gaetz, and his friend used Apple Pay and Cash App for drug-fueled sexual encounters in Florida hotels. Ooh, that's gonna leave a trail. Don't. If you're gonna do illegal activity, and I'm not telling you to, don't do illegal stuff. That's not a good idea. You're gonna go to jail. But if you're gonna do illegal stuff, why are you leaving a digital paper trail? Why are you using a debit card? Why are you using your PayPal or your Cash App? Like go pull money out of an ATM, Matt. Like, what are you doing? Jesus Christ. It's like he's never committed a crime in his life. Does this count as citation needed? I don't know. I don't run that bingo. Someone else does. This person says, I'm not homophobic. I don't hate gays. I just don't support that lifestyle or their choices. That's my least favorite thing that idiots say, is they'll be like, I don't hate you. I just hate you being you. Like, yeah, you hate me. Just say you hate me then. It's not fine, but there's nothing I can do about it. At least be honest about the fact that you hate me. Jesus. It's not a lifestyle. It's not a choice. And then this person says, nobody is born Oh, what? They say, nobody is born lesbian, gay, black, or trans. LGBT is a choice that directly counteracts God's plan for you. God loves you and it hurts you when you disrespect him like that. Oh. Yikes. Monsters, Inc. depicts children used for harvesting adrenochrome and loosh. I know about the adrenochrome conspiracy in the Q community, which we cover on Tinfoil Tuesdays, and, make fun of. I've not heard of loosh. I'm gonna have to, hold on, let me look this up. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I'm just looking it up. New Age term applied to energy produced by human beings that other entities use to feed from. It's also used to refer to the energy that is produced by suffering that entities feed, from books by Robert Monroe, maybe a play on the French word louche. Oh. It's like woo-woo bullshit. It's magical people energy. Gotcha. It's always nice when the bullshit's, you know, bullshit. Why is it mass shootings when dema idiots? That's the worst. Oh god, what do they call that when you put two words together? Someone remind me what that's called. Portmanteau. Thank you. That's the worst portmanteau I've ever heard. Dema idiots. It doesn't even flow into the other word. Whatever. Start gun control garbage. 0 mass shootings under President Trump. 0 mass shootings under Trump. Hold on. Mass shootings under Trump. False. In March 2021, after 2 deadly U.S. shootings, the first involved the killings of 8 people in Atlanta, Georgia, the second involving killing of 10 people in Boulder, Colorado, messages started circulating on social media claiming that mass shootings had resumed under President Joe Biden after they had all but disappeared under the former Republican President Donald Trump. Blah, 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 blah. Here's just a list of mass shootings that happened. In November 2017, 26 people were killed at a church in Sutherland Springs, Texas. February 2018, 17 people were killed in Parkland. In May 2018, 10 people were killed in Santa Fe, Texas. The point being, yes, there were mass shootings under Donald Trump, you idiots. There are fewer mass shootings during COVID because everyone was locked down, and places that were populous, malls, schools, offices, casinos, clubs, they're all closed. It's hard to do a mass shooting when there is no mass. You know what I mean? Like, don't do it anyway, but come on, this would take 5 seconds to fact check. Oh god, Marjorie Taylor Greene lifting weights says, "This is my COVID protection." Deadlifting weights and like, hey, it's good to be in shape. I'm really happy, you know, that anyone's in shape. That has nothing to do with you catching a virus. You're still gonna catch a virus, Marjorie. What? Oh god, it's a Trump scotch glass of some sort that says, "I'll be back." I sort of ironically want this. I'm gonna be real with you guys. Tacky Trump merchandise is the funniest thing. I would get a bunch of tacky Trump merchandise, but it's the kind of thing where I feel like if I do that and then someday I'm old and I store it all in an attic somewhere, like someone's gonna come across it after I die, and it would be like walking in and like going through your grandparents' stuff and finding like an iron cross. Like, you gotta be like, oh, I'd have to put a big note in there that's like, I bought this stuff ironically. I was not a party to the fashy thing that happened in the 2016 to 2020. Corporate needs you to find the difference between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture. I don't disagree. I just find that meme format in that particular case to be a little eye-rolling. Steve Dace says, "I'm opposed to tyranny against my bodily autonomy, regardless of whether it's from corporatists or communists, but thank you." Jesus Christ. Oh, did you see Nick Fuentes defending Matt Gaetz? Wait, no, he's banned from Twitch. I can't play him. Matt Gaetz voted against a human trafficking bill. Guess what he's under investigation for? Matt Gaetz is under investigation on suspicion of violating federal sex trafficking laws. In 2017, he cast the only vote against the human trafficking bill. The only vote. You know what his justification was, by the way? Was that he didn't want big government. If you don't want the government big enough to stop sex trafficking, why are you in the government? Like, that's the bare minimum I think literally everyone agrees they want the government to do. Ah, God. Rallies are back on the menu. Love this, man. This is from comments under a Trump interview from the Patriots.win or whatever it's called. Used to be the Donald.win. I always enjoyed watching President Trump's rallies. He really knows how to put on an exciting rally. I used to go to sleep listening to his rallies. Wow. Can you imagine having your entire identity this wrapped up in, like, a single politician? Wild. Wild mentality. I've never in my life liked a politician that much. It's creepy. This is another post from the Donald. The year is 2042. Rachel Levine is the first woman to be president. Making fun of trans people. There are now 92,109 genders. The only small businesses left are black-owned hair salons and drive-through strip joints. Wow, racist. They released Chinese-built Fossey bots to hunt down the last of the unvaxxed. Sex with anyone but trans people has been outlawed. That works out for me. I'm the last super straight white male, and this is my story. Oh my God. Don't you just love people who are racist, transphobic pieces of shit, and in the same breath will claim that they're the ones that are being, like, oppressed? I just want to tell everyone how much I fucking hate them. What a piece of shit. Matt Gaetz. Elon Musk says, if there's ever a scandal about me, please call it Elon Gate. Matt Gaetz says, deal, I want Gaetz Gate. Matt Gaetz is said to be investigated over possible sexual relationship with a girl, 17. There you go. Got your wish. Don't let your dreams be dreams, kids. Unless your dreams are transporting a minor across state lines for sex. Then probably leave that one in your dreams, because that's very illegal. Under no circumstances will I ever be vaccinated. Upvote if you concur. Oh my God, guys, just get it. Just get it. You know what? Whatever. Fine. I'm getting mine Friday. If these people want to... I really, really wish there wasn't a concern that they could help mutate new forms of the virus, but there is. Mega Church talking about the Lil Nas X thing.
Montero, Call Me By Your Name music video, Lil Nas X is doubling down on his demonic imagery with the new Nike release, quote, Satan shoes. The classic Air Max 97s have been revamped by collaborators with the underworld
They're seriously just falling for the bait so hard, and it's so funny.
in mind, coming in a limited edition stock of 666 pairs, each individually numbered 666
No, this isn't Joel Olstein.
in red and Pershing.
Someone got a Kaitlin Bennett tattoo, and the legs look like they have duty on them, so that's fun. Don't know if you guys saw that. Who in their right mind gets a Kaitlin Bennett tattoo? Seriously. Mr. Burinson, please DM me. My father died while participating in a clinical trial for the Bofa vaccine, and I would like to tell his story. Please email me at this. Also, which is the Bofa vaccine? Is this a joke I don't get? Bofa. Hold on, I gotta Urban Dictionary this. Oh, Bofa D's nuts. Got me. Mike Lindell doing pillow stuff.
What I'm talking about, Steve, is what I have been doing since January 9th. All the evidence I have, everything is going to go before the Supreme Court, and the election of 2020 is going bye-bye. It was an attack by other country, communism coming in.
Communism! Famous communist Joe Biden, who's been trying to make cuts to Social Security his entire political career.
I don't know what they're going to do with it after they pull it down, but it's
hang on a second.
I'm not falling for that one, Speedy Yoshi. Now I'm on the lookout. Sock on these nuts.
Donald Trump will
Go
be
ahead.
back.
Speaking of which, I got a pair of Gaff underwear for the first time, and they're fantastic. So if you're a trans woman and you like yoga pants as much as I do, and you don't want protrusions, check out Gaff underwear. They're pretty great.
In office in August. What I'm talking about, Steve, is what I have been doing since January 9th. All the evidence I have, everything is going to go.
What are Gaff underwear? They're underwear that look like normal underwear, but they have extra, like, padding and layers in the front to hide... I'm trying to avoid saying the word bulge. But that's the word. That's the word I need to say to explain. They keep things tucked also, yes.
Go before the Supreme Court, and the election of 2020 is going bye-bye. It was an attack by other country, communism coming in.
Communism! Fuentes says, everybody is willing to condemn Lil Nas X for his overtly satanic music video. Everybody? I think it's just reactionaries. But nobody wants to say anything about his open homosexuality. Maybe there's a connection there. Let's see. So noted fascist and dumbass Nick Fuentes. Oh yeah, this post. Bear in mind, this is a allegation. There's no confirmation of this post. But this is what someone said. So noted fascist and dumbass Nick Fuentes went to the same high school as me and graduated a couple years after me. In high school, he was a notorious weenie and shit his pants running the mile. If you reply to one of his tweets pointing this out, he'll block you almost immediately. And if you just tweet it yourself without even tagging him, he might too, because he searches his name like crazy. But he wasn't a fashion high school at all. He started being a MAGA guy because, in his own words, it was profitable. So after he graduated, everyone he knew lost all respect for him and wouldn't talk to him. So one Christmas break, he bought a massive amount of weed and offered to smoke people out, and everyone said no. So he went on this huge, now deleted Twitter rant at 6 a.m. Christmas Day, going on about how marijuana is the devil and makes you a communist or whatever. And people replied to it with screenshots of him texting them offering to smoke him out, LMAO. He enrolled at Boston University to, in his own words, engage liberals at one of the most left-wing schools in America in political debate. He got in because of legacy admissions and a legacy student scholarship, and then dropped out after, shocker, no one would talk to him because he was a virulent fascist. Then he tried to attend Auburn, but they rescinded his admission after learning he was at Charlottesville. Now his parents bankroll him, and he spends his free time fighting with the church across the street from his parents' house over their decision to fly a pride flag. Just wanted to share how pathetic this dude is. I hope every single word of that is true. I really do. Someone go, no, I'm not gonna, no, can't tell you to do that. Rules, gotta follow the rules. This language used against Trump supporters by the left is the same language used by Hitler in Nazi Germany. Just as Hitler singled out the Jews, the Biden administration has singled out Trump supporters and Christians to be the bad citizens. Stop being bad citizens, then. It's not about a race thing. It's about the fact that you have really, really terrible fascist opinions. You are the ones who closely resemble Nazis. Sorry. They're talking about re-education camps as well as... Who is talking about re-education camps? As well as punishing Trump supporters, threatening our jobs. Wrong R. Not even close. I don't know if I've ever seen someone make that grammatical mistake. They have brainwashed the youth of America with false narratives. It can't be that kids just see through your bullshit. It must be that they've been indoctrinated. They continue to demonize Trump supporters. Well, stop being demons then. They are systematically and purposely destroying our great country. Our freedom of speech has been taken away. We're being censored by the media to remain silent. You become complicit. Shut up, Richard. Let's take a look at Right Wing Watch. They normally have some interesting videos. Marjorie Taylor Greene is raising money off her Mark of the Beast comments. She's using Gordon Klingenschmidt's Pray in Jesus' Name mailing list to do so. Fellow patriot Joe Biden and his Democrats have wasted no time in asserting more and more control over the American people. Has he even read the Constitution? Wasn't Marjorie a high school dropout? They want to defund the police so they can control who is protected, them, and who is not protecting you. I'm actually surprised there wasn't the 3 echoes around the them there. They want to cancel gender so they can even decide who can share a restroom with your daughter and be on a sports team. Hashtag cancel gender. Gender is canceled. Now they want to issue immunity passports so they can decide when you can go on a plane, go to work, and even leave your home. Get the vaccine then. Get it. That'd be great. This sounds like a lot. This sounds a lot like the mark of the beast as described in Revelations 13:18, and I will never allow this to happen while I'm still drawing breath. Let's look at Mark 13:18, shall we? Let me find my Bible. Where's my stupid Bible? Hold on. Where did I put it? That's a Harry Potter book. That's not a Bible. I guess I can just look it up online. I just prefer to use my physical Bible because I'm used to it. I guess we're going to have to look it up. It's on the coffee table. Thank you. Hi, kitty. Mark 13:18? Mark 12, Mark 13:18. Let's take a look. The destruction of the temple and the signs of the end times. Jesus said unto them, I'm going to back up a little bit so we have the context, okay? Oh, Revelations 13:18. Sorry, thank you. I think I said Mark because it was the mark of the beast. Sorry. Revelations 13:18. Revelations is fun because it's basically someone's drug trip. 13:18. Okay, let's just read 13. It's relatively short. The beast out of the sea. The dragon stood on the shore of the sea, and I saw a beast coming out of the sea. It had 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 crowns on its horns, and on each head a blasphemous name. The beast I saw resembled a leopard, but had the feet like those of a bear, and a mouth like that of a lion. The dragon gave the beast his power, and his throne and great authority. One of the heads of the beast seemed to have had a fatal wound, but the fatal wound had been healed. The whole world was filled with wonder and followed the beast. People worshipped the dragon because he had given authority to the beast, and they also worshipped the beast and asked, Who is like the beast? Who can wage war against it? The beast was given a mouth to utter proud words, and oh wait, no, I can skip ahead. The beast out of the earth is where this starts. Spoilers for TBR? True. Then I saw the second beast coming out of the earth. It had 2 horns like a lamb, but it spoke like a dragon. You know how dragons talk. We all know that. It exercised all the authority of the first beast on its behalf, and made the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast, whose fatal wound had been healed, and it performed great signs, even causing fire to come down from heaven to the earth in full view of the people. Because of the signs it was given power to perform on behalf of the first beast, it deceived the inhabitants of the earth. It ordered them to set up an image in honor of the beast, who was wounded by the sword and yet lived. The second beast was given power to breathe to the image of the first beast, so that the image could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed. It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands or on their foreheads, so that they would not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. That number is 666. Hold on, there's a... Yeah. So that's it. This has been used by conservative Christians multiple times. It's from Revelations anyway, which is, even for the Bible, pretty out there. It's basically someone taking mushrooms, but like way too many. Like 20 grams of mushrooms or something, and then just having the craziest dream or whatever. And then they wrote it down, and Christians think it's prophetic, at least some Christians, evangelical Christians, let me put it that way. So they think this Mark of the Beast thing is literally going to happen. They think it's prophecy, and things that they have thought the Mark of the Beast will be include barcodes. You know, the things that are on literally every product. This Bible came with a barcode initially. It had like a wrapping with stuff on it. This had a barcode. Everything we buy has a barcode, right? They thought barcodes were the mark of the beast at one point. So forgive me if I don't trust random Christians, especially QAnon believers like Marjorie Taylor Greene, with deciphering not quite 2,000 years old, but quite an old text. Over a millennium old, let's say. I don't trust a high school dropout to do that, no offense. Anyway.
Who is running this country? Because when I look up there on that White House Earth cam, I don't see no snipers on the White House. And the White House look clearly...
You're really not supposed to see the snipers. That's kind of the point. They are there, but you're not supposed to be like, oh, look, a sniper.
Empty to me. Absolutely. And I'm wondering about some things. Some things do not like. Something is going on up under our noses. Who is
that freeze out? And they did it with the weather warfare. That would be,
weather warfare, like Cobra Commander's Weather Dominator. It's not bad.
The bunker fuel in the ocean and the pulling down the polar vortex, right? With the chemtrails. So they pulled it down and they hit all of Texas. As you know, it had a huge freeze. So yeah, that's what happened. And they usually do it from the Arecibo Observatory when they do their hurricanes and stuff, to pull the hurricane stuff through that Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico. But this time the Arecibo Observatory was down. So they did it through the Ecuadorian HAARP facility. It was traced to there. If you watch my videos, you would see the video. It traced all the way back to the Ecuadorian HAARP facility, and that was China testing out their new weapons.
Feels like Tinfoil Tuesday up in here. Self-proclaimed prophet Hank Kuhnman says Christians must continue to believe that Trump won the election and will return to office because it's inconceivable that, quote, all of God's messengers, prophets, intercessors, and Christians were somehow wrong.
Is try to, quit, give up, point the finger, and then begin to think, well, you know what, all of this was just a smokescreen. No, that's what the enemy wants, because it's a sad day if all of God's messengers, prophets, intercessors, Christians were somehow wrong, and the fake news that we know have been fake news were the voice of truth.
We literally cannot be wrong. We will not accept that as a conclusion. Therefore, we will contort reality, into some sort of state where we can be right. That's not reasonable in any way, shape, or form.
It would take supernatural, another miracle. That miracle is coming. When I say a 9-0 thing at the Supreme Court, even if they deny it, I'm telling you, that election is getting pulled down. When you have 100% proof of an attack by a foreign country.
If you had that proof, Mike, then you would have actually succeeded in lawsuits. But you don't? So you lose. You see how that works? When you don't have evidence for the claims you're making, people don't take you seriously. Stick to cocaine and pillows. Ooh, new idea. Cocaine pillow. It's a pillow that's full of cocaine, so you can never sleep on it. It's your wake-up pillow. This is a good idea.
This is an attack on our country, not just, it's on all the people. You know, when Democrats were so afraid of the use of these machines as soon as last spring with Amy Klobuchar and others in the movie Kill Chain, you know, they were afraid. They're saying, and, you know, our election integrity is gone bye-bye if we have these machines. Well, then just because that's the party that got the benefit from this China attack, what's going to happen is everyone is a Democrat, and they're going to realize by the time we dump all this evidence that, wow, this is an attack by China. This election's going to get pulled down. And I'll say it on your show, I really believe that we will have our president that won 80 million to 66 million in office by August. And
I can't wait to see Peter's bullshit video on this. Remember when Copeland said he solved COVID back in last April? He blew it away. What a hero.
COVID-19!
COVID-19!
I blow!
Maybe that's the issue. Maybe he didn't understand it's a respiratory disease that's spread through particles in the air. And he just spread it everywhere, and that's why we find ourselves in our current predicament.
The wind of God!
The wind of God!
On you.
On you.
You are destroyed forever.
You are destroyed forever.
And you'll never be back.
And you'll never be back.
Thank you, our God.
Thank you, our God.
Let it happen.
Let it happen.
Cause it to happen.
Cause it to happen.
There are a lot of late-night talk show hosts that I think haven't exactly thrived under the new format of not having an audience in front of them. A good example of this, I think, is Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert's bits very much still have pause for audience laughter and applause, so the timing feels off without people there to laugh at it. He might have an audience again now, I'm not sure. But I know I caught some of his stuff over quarantine, over that period, and it felt awkward because he very much... he needs an audience to vibe off of. This feels very similar in that the creepiness of the evangelical chanting and claiming you're getting rid of a disease and repeating each other is so much creepier when there's not like a whole audience of people reacting.
State is full of rhinos, and primary among them is a guy named James Langford. He's a rhino of the highest order. He knows it, I know it, and you know it. And we have to replace James Langford, because if we don't replace him in this election cycle, he's going to be in office like Jim Inhofe for the next 30-something years, because right now, Langford has shown his true colors. We've seen things that most of us intrinsically knew, but he exposed himself because of the last year, 2020, and then what's happened this year.
Steven Crowder has been temporarily suspended from YouTube, if you didn't see, because he's a racist piece of shit. Have you seen his... Oh god, should I even play this? It's for informational purposes. This is a Steven Crowder bit that he deleted. I think this wasn't actually on YouTube. I think he posted it to Twitter, but he's also wiped his Twitter, so.
Hey, look, this leaf is red like Elmo's fur, and this leaf is brown like Wes's skin.
Tread lightly there, Elmo.
Elmo has a question. What it is, Elmo? Elmo wants to know why Wes's skin is brown. Oh, I know why, Elmo. My mom and dad told me it's because of melanin. Right, Dad?
I ain't your dad.
Melanin? What's that?
Well, melanin is something we each have inside of our bodies that make the outside of our bodies the color that it is. It also gives us a competitive edge in all sports besides swimming. Yep, can't do that.
Fur color?
I don't know.
But if we all have melanin, why is Mr. Elijah's skin a darker brown than Wes's skin?
Oh, good question, Elmo. It's because Mr. Elijah likes fat white asses. The color of our skin is an important part of who we are. In fact, it's the only thing that matters anymore. That's it. Just skin.
And Elmo's fur is red and soft. And I sleep with a wave cap.
Things on the outside, like our hair color and our noses, mouth, and eyes, are...
This is a Steven Crowder bit. He basically took an actual video from Sesame Street and dubbed it over with all this bullshit.
Hated by the white man. That's why we're taking this city back. That's what we're gonna do, Elmo. Take it back and give it to the black man. Take it from the evil whites. That's what we're gonna do.
You in or you out, Elmo? Elmo's an ally. It's melanin where you burned down Mr. Hooper's general store? Yeah, but...
You get it. It ends with them giving drugs to Elmo. Steven Crowder's a piece of shit, if you don't know.
Touch not.
Self-proclaimed prophet Hank Kuhnman is very upset with those who call him a false prophet and the, quote, movie perverts who have touched the children, end quote, and those who troll him on Facebook.
There's two things the scripture is very determined about God. You don't attack the prophets. Psalm 105. Touch not my anointed. Do my prophets no harm. Now that's not...
The Bible also warns about false prophets, and you know how the Bible tells you to determine false prophets? It's pretty simple, actually. The Bible says if someone prophesies things and they don't come true, then that person is a false prophet. You prophesied that Trump would win the election and that the election was fraudulent and stolen, and you've been wrong on all of those counts, so as far as the Bible is concerned, you're a false prophet. Good job.
Not prophetic... a prophet's, that's just their handicap or their excuse. No, that God said that. And the second thing you don't do, which they've done, is you don't touch the children. Jesus said if you touch the children and they...
I find it so interesting that right-wingers have become so fundamentally unpopular on basically every social issue that they've retreated back to a point that everyone agrees on. Like 99.999% of the population, regardless of your political affiliation, agrees that pedophilia is awful. It's one of the worst things in existence. Like, that's not a bold stance to be like, I don't like pedophiles. Like, yeah, none of us do. Did you not understand that before? It's so interesting that they're so wrong on every issue that they have to basically make up a wedge issue, as if there's some group of people out there with any sort of political power that's like, you know what's great? No one does that.
They've done it through trafficking and other things. He said it would be better that a millstone be tied around your head than you cause one of these children to stumble. And there has been some very evil, dark, disgusting stuff at the hands of some of these politicians and even people that you think are movie stars. They're movie perverts.
That's right. Come
who
on.
have touched the children. And you didn't elect people to the high office.
What about Matt Gaetz? Question?
Of the land to do what they did to the children, and God has had enough. So when you get on there as trolls, do you ever think about the children and the parents that have lost their kids? This isn't a joke. So get off my Facebook.
Come on. That's right.
If your big, powerful sermon ends with "get off my Facebook," probably rethink your sermon. Claiming to have a source in, quote, close contact with Trump, QAnon conspiracy theorist Francine Fosdick insists that he and Melania never took the COVID-19 vaccine. Quote, they never got the shot. Come on, they're not that stupid.
President Trump said that him and Melania took the vaccine. I can't stress enough that he did not, and she did not. I mean, I have a close contact with him. He did not, guys, okay? He's talking about something else. I mean, he's been talking about HCP.
He took a placebo.
Right. Come on, guys. And okay, placebo. And every single person that faked that they got it and the government was a placebo too. They never got the shot. The jab with, mRNA. Come on, they're not that stupid. President.
I'd like to ask this lady in person, what's mRNA?
In this nation, it ought to be answered this week alone by the fact that our stimulus checks, the stimulus checks, $1,400 for every person in America, they're signed by Donald J. Trump, not Joe Biden.
They're not, though, but they're not.
There is a demonic hedge of protection around Joe Biden.
Ooh, demonic hedge, you say?
That's why he can say and do the most insane things with no backlash.
What kind of insane things?
So here's where we pray. God changed the way.
Are they signed? It's a reference to the fact that the last stimulus checks, the ones under Trump, were signed by Trump. Trump insisted they put his name on the checks. Biden did not, so they're not signed by Biden. They're not signed. They're probably, signed off on by the government or whatever. I don't know exactly how these have to be done. I don't use checks very often. But I don't think it works like a personal check now.
The way I pray for America. He helped me to understand how to pray. 2 Corinthians 10, verse 4. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they are mighty through God to the tearing down of strongholds. The Lord said, Mari, I want you to pray against the hedge of protection that's around Joe Biden and the leftists. Tear it down so that the nation will wake up from this spell.
Build the demonic hedge. Build the hedge. Build the hedge.
And
Thanks, Satan.
Understand that not only were they ripped off in their votes, that they're now going to have their children taken from them, their rights. They're going to have womanhood itself erased.
I hope not.
And somehow the scales will fall off the eyes of pastors and a powerful move of God can begin. If we...
Frustrating.
Saying Donald Trump will defend the afflicted among the people and save the children of the needy. Donald Trump will crush the oppressor. This was talking about Solomon. It's Solomon, but now God's igniting it. It's a rhema word specifically about Donald Trump.
It's both about Solomon and Trump somehow.
And he's saying Donald Trump, like Solomon, will defend the afflicted, like my son Jesus, okay?
She named her son oh, wait, no. She's probably referencing God saying that. For a second, I thought she named her son Jesus, which I thought was very funny.
And then it goes on. In his days, in Donald Trump's days, the righteous will flourish. What happened in Solomon's days?
Solomon Grundy, born on a Tuesday? No. Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday, christened on Tuesday. Wait. Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday, christened on Tuesday, married on Wednesday, grew ill on Thursday, got worse on Friday, died on a Saturday, buried on Sunday. This was the tale of Solomon Grundy.
They prospered enormously. And God's saying the same thing's going to happen. He said, in his days, in Donald Trump's days, the righteous will flourish. Prosperity will abound till the Lord is no more. For he will deliver the needy who cry out, the afflicted who have no one to help. He said, I'm going to use this man. Stand firm on it. Use this word that I'm giving you as a sword. You declare it. Donald Trump, God, you said Donald Trump will...
Isn't Solomon Grundy a zombie? Yeah. Solomon Grundy is named after the nursery rhyme, not the other way around.
Deliver the needy who cry out. Those cries that are going all over the land for help, God, you're going to put him back in the position where he'll be able to bring forth justice, and he will deliver the needy who cry out, the afflicted who have no one to help them. All the innocent babies, all the children, all those that are caught in sexual trafficking. We know this is going on. God's saying, I'm going to put this man in a position so he can. I will do it through him. It's God that's doing it.
As far as homosexuality, this is what I heard. And I'm going to tell you something, and I want everybody to take heed. This is what I've heard from the Lord. Homosexuality is a cover-up.
Ooh, what am I covering up?
For an evangelist. People that are in that lifestyle are really called evangelists by the Lord.
Wait, I'm supposed to be an evangelist, but instead I, Okay, that's a good trade-off.
And this is a spirit that attacks that to stop it. So instead of just praying a lot of things right here, what I'm led to do is to call forth the gift of evangelism that God has placed on their lives to come forth, and it will drive that other out.
Comment? No, thank you.
So right now I call for the gift of evangelism, that call from God, that those that are bound up in homosexuality, that the evangelist anointing will come upon their lives, because that's what they are. And we say to the evangelist inside the homosexual, come forth, come out of that tomb and come forth.
Baja can come in my tomb anytime.
In Jesus' name.
Oh God, more Mike Pillow.
Frank coming out, which will be the biggest platform holding the most people ever, that I believe, the safest, the most secure, and we don't care what Mr. Apple does. We don't care what Benzoil from...
What Mr. Apple does? You mean Tim Cook? What?
Amazon does. We don't care what any of them do. If you're on my platform, you're going to have all the followers following you. It's reverse engineered. So all the podcasters and influencers come over. All the people immediately have to follow them, so they unsubscribe. So I've got Frank coming out, which will be the biggest platform holding the most people.
Jesus.
Again, but I will tell you what the plan is. The plan is this. Right now, I'm launching that first documentary this week, tomorrow at noon. Then next week, I'm launching Absolute Interference. The week after that, we're going to be launching Absolute Cover-Up. Okay, but now in a parallel track, all the evidence now, we've checked out every IP address, the IDs of the computers. We have everything. It just came back yesterday. I'm so happy now. It's all we could right now. Bring it to the Supreme Court, and they would go 9-0. This is turned,
Good luck.
Okay, but Mike, for those of us who aren't lawyers, we don't understand.
Right.
You say we could bring it to the Supreme Court.
And I'm going to explain that. The reason we're not.
The Supreme Court is an appellate court. It's like, you'd have to take it to other courts first, Mike.
Okay.
You can't just go, hello, Supreme Court, we have a new case for you. That's not how it works.
The reason we're not, everybody, is because we've got some bad people on the Supreme Court that don't want to look at cases. We have bad judges in this country that don't want to look at stuff.
3 of the people on the Supreme Court were nominated by Donald Trump.
So what I've decided to do, this is Mike Lindell now, is I'm going to, over the course of the next 5 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks, I'm going to dump all this evidence for all to see every day on my new platform, Frank, where the world can't suppress it, where every single person, my audience, I believe, is a Democrat, just a Democrat that goes, wow, China attacked this. This came in, it's foreign interference. They came in and stole this election through these machines,
They didn't.
Dominion and Smartmatic.
Oh, is he still slandering Dominion? Oh, that lawsuit's going to be fun.
Everyone will get to see this over 5 weeks. I have a very coordinated plan here. Then I'm also putting a lawsuit with My Pillow against Dominion, countersuing of the public for free speech.
How are you going to sue Dominion as My Pillow? What has Dominion done to My Pillow that you haven't also done to Dominion? What are you talking about? The Supreme Court does have original jurisdiction over certain cases, but for the most part only hears appeals previously ruled on. Yeah, I think it's like if a state sues another state, the Supreme Court has original jurisdiction. But outside of that, I don't think there's much else. I don't know. Not a lawyer.
The First Amendment rights. We're all doing this over the course of 5 weeks to show the world all the evidence, including 9 people on the Supreme Court and including their neighbors, their friends, everybody going, did you see this? Did you see this?
Do you think Mike's back on the drugs? Feels a little bit like it. Just saying, you know? Okay, that's probably good for today. Not the whole stream. Just the right-wing cope stuff. We gotta move on to the Matt Gaetz thing. So let's take a look. Let me do some bits messages and then we'll move on. Got a lot of them, actually. One Speedy Yoshi says, with a 2-month streak, stream zygote is now an embryo. The anti-Jared, thanks for following. Tucker White says, Chud, quote, why must my game about killing Nazis become political? Pyromancer says, irony is dead. RTK says, what is da baby? Da baby. It's like that. Thrash Mio says, right-wingers denying Nazis existing reminds me of a mob boss saying there is no mafia. Nlid says, I was on a trip this weekend, 4-hour drive, saw 6 properties along the way with Trump signs, flags. There is on my way to my electrologist, there is a person who used to fly a Trump flag and signs and stuff. And only in the past month or so have they actually taken down their Trump sign, and now they're flying, I think it's a Blue Lives Matter flag and the American flag upside down. So there's that. Tucker White says, man, it must suck to be conservative. You can't watch TV, movies, baseball, drink Coca-Cola, and so much other stuff, pretending for a moment that any of them actually follow through on these boycotts. My dad's one of these people, let me tell you. My dad literally would only ever watch sports and Fox News. Sports, Fox News, and in the morning ABC News, or Good Morning America. At lunch, he would sometimes watch reruns of Bonanza, but I don't think my dad has watched a new TV show of his own volition since The Office was airing new. I'm not even kidding. And even then, he ended up like not finishing it or anything. We just watched it for a while in like the 3rd and 4th seasons. Do I think he cried when Rush died? I hope so. Tucker White says, yes, nothing screams counterculture like defending the establishment and respecting the police. It's like the great rap group NWA once sang, respect the constable. Kirthan says, I'm getting my vaccine Wednesday. Congratulations. Killjoy says, hi, Hannah. I've seen the LGBT image from way before it's been posted here on this Twitter. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Tucker White says, it's so Lucia's Soylent Green. It's more energy, I think, than it is physical meats. MMO Addicted says, my favorite is Demon Rats. I've seen that one. Angel Lost in Space with a 3-month subscription or 3-month streak says, made it through the first trimester. Tucker White says, so what do these chuds consider the Las Vegas and Parkland shootings? Yeah, right? Verbutin, thank you for resubscribing for 3 months, says, finally back, and I see great topics today. Casual Snark says, the phrase, demo idiots makes me think of people who shouldn't be playing with dynamite. RTK says, drive-through strip joints? Tell me more. That XY girl says, Hannah reads Chud fanfic stream when? Ooh, that would be good. I do want to do fanfic streams. I have to censor them pretty heavily, though, because of the porn. Woohoo Lulu says, just had my first vaccine 30 minutes ago. Nice. Good for you. Pyromancer says, why would you get a turd tattooed on your body? Casual, that's about the Kaitlin Bennett tattoo. Casual Snark says, stop smoking your pillows, Mike. Thrash Mio with 50 bits. Casual Snark with 20 says, I lived through Kiss, Ozzy Osbourne, and Marilyn Manson. Lil Nas is boring. Books Rule 123, thanks for following. Cool Cat 1256 says, all medical info on board for anyone who needs it. And then there's a link. Color by Emmy with 20 bits says, ooh, space shirt. I love it. Thank you. RTK says, I have seen people make the R not R mistake. Okay, I haven't. Tea with Goblins, you look lovely. Thanks to time zone differences, you start streaming around the time my alarm goes off. Office jobs suck, but it's a deluge. Getting ready with you and chat, so thanks. Oh, I think it's supposed to be delight, maybe? Of course. Thanks for making us part of your routine. Tucker White says, ah yes, I too remember when Jesus said, and lo, a day with cometh where the hashtag mark of the beast will appear in the form of passports by the Joe Biden administration. I'll admit I always thought it was weirdly specific. And so the beast in Revelations is Mega Ultra Chicken. Jeff Millarts with 20 bits. Tucker again says, when you're in Washington, D.C., you should always assume a Secret Service agent has a sniper pointed at you. Jeff Millart says, I'd like your thoughts on a portmanteau I came up with for QAnon believers. QA-morons. It's a bit of a stretch. Color by Emmy says, yep, the left uses weather warfare to further their agenda. That's why California is always on fire. Wing the Ultimate Nug says, TOS music? So is this literally summoning Satan? But it's satin? Tea with Goblins says, sorry if you already know this, but there's someone speculating that 666 was actually a coded reference to Emperor Nero using numerology. Some theorists suggest that the Book of Revelation is a heavily coded, drug-fueled religious criticism of the Roman Empire. Could be. Overthought says, Mike Pillow is going to ruin his career so hard he's going to have to resort to make waifu pillows to turn a profit. RDK142 says, didn't Peter already make a video on that? Peter makes videos on the same thing over and over and over again anyway. It doesn't matter. Pyromancer says, the most convincing case for demons existing. That XY girl says, QAnon people actually say that Gaetzgate is fake because it was talked about by the mainstream media. It's maddening. I know. We'll probably cover a little bit of that tomorrow on Tinfoil Tuesday. Tucker White says, telling trolls to get off your Facebook page after a straw man rant is the most surefire way to ensure that the trolls will remain. Mike Mack says, conservative conspiracy theorist, we hate tyranny. Also conservative conspiracy theorist, you must follow the Bible. No if or what. Pyromancer says, imagine all the shit you'd get if you were named Jesus. There are some people who are named Jesus. A little bit different, but that is just the Spanish version of Jesus, so I don't know. It's just a cultural thing. Overthought says, Billy Graham Cyrus, and then Colossus TV says, bits. Thanks for the bits. Okay, so let's take a look at the Matt Gaetz thing. I'm not gonna lie, I know the broad strokes, but I'm not overly familiar with the details, which is why I would like to take a look at some articles about it with you guys. So let's take a look and see what the actual specific allegations are. I know it has to do with moving a 17-year-old across state lines for the purposes of which is illegal. It's a federal felony. So let's take a look. Feds looking at alleged payments Representative Matt Gaetz made to women in online solicitation. The federal investigation targeting Republican Rep. Matt Gaetz is specifically looking into whether he and an associate in his home state of Florida provided cash or other things of value to women they had sex with after connecting online. The New York Times first reported Thursday evening, and a source familiar with the matter confirmed to ABC News. Gaetz' associate, former local politician Joel Greenberg, was indicted last year for allegedly trafficking a teenage girl for sex in 2017. And the Justice Department is also trying to determine whether Gaetz had sex with a 17-year-old, according to sources. Greenberg pleaded not guilty to the charges. The details of the investigation were first reported by the New York Times 2 days after the paper revealed that an investigation was underway. The disclosure has sent shockwaves through Republican circles, particularly among those close associates of the former President Donald Trump, who considered Gaetz a staunch ally and loyal friend. Gaetz' office did not respond to a request for comment, but earlier this week, Gaetz insisted on Fox News that he, quote, never had a relationship with a 17-year-old, calling such allegations totally false, end quote. According to the Times, investigators believe Greenberg met women through certain websites and introduced some of them to Gaetz. As recently as 2019 and 2020, Gaetz and Greenberg told women to meet them at hotels in Florida, laying out how much they were willing to pay beforehand, the newspaper said, adding that party drugs may have also been used by Gaetz and others at the time. Matt Gaetz has never paid for sex, Gaetz' office said in a statement to New York Times. Matt Gaetz refutes all of the disgusting allegations completely. Matt Gaetz has never been on any such websites whatsoever. Matt Gaetz cherishes the relationship in his past and looks forward to marrying the love of his life. Bear in mind, Matt Gaetz is 38 years old, I believe, and the allegations are that he was involved with a 17-year-old girl. Not cool, not legal, not okay. A lawyer for Greenberg did not respond to ABC News' request for comment. Greenberg served a controversial stint as Seminole County tax collector until he resigned last summer following his arrest by federal authorities. Prior to joining Congress, Gaetz was a member of the Florida House of Representatives when his father was also a member of the Florida Senate. Sources told ABC News the two were often referred to as Daddy Gaetz and Baby Gaetz. Ooh. Sources said some women referred to him as Creepy Gaetz because they allegedly found themselves made uncomfortable by the junior lawmaker. Creepy Gaetz. Sources said Gaetz was part of a group of young male lawmakers who created a, quote, game to score their female sexual conquests, which granted points for various targets, such as interns, staffers, or other female colleagues in the state house. Oh, all of these people should resign. What the fuck? That's disgusting. One of the targets of the scoring system was a group the lawmakers had heard were, quote, virgins, according to a source. The scoring system by male Florida lawmakers was previously reported by the Miami Herald. Goddamn. One source said Gaetz was often spotted trying to pick up young women at the 101 restaurant, a once popular watering hole in Tallahassee for some lawmakers and a student from nearby Florida State University. While on Capitol Hill as a member of Congress, Gaetz allegedly boasted of his sexual encounters with women and would actually try to show colleagues photos and videos of naked women he had slept with, according to sources familiar with Gaetz' actions. One video in particular was of a naked woman with a hula hoop, according to a source who was shown the material, an allegation first reported by CNN. Yeah, that's wholly inappropriate. Holy crap, that's disgusting. You're a fucking representative and you're doing that shit on the job? Gaetz' office did not respond for comment. During an interview on Fox News, Gaetz claimed he was being extorted over the investigation and claims that someone had alleged there were false pictures of me with child prostitutes, which he said was obviously fake. Oh, that, in my opinion, means there's definitely photos out there of him with child prostitutes. No one says that unprovoked. Who says that unprovoked? That like, whoa, guys. These alleged photos of me with child prostitutes that no one's heard of until I just said this. Let me tell you, those are fake. No one preempts that, is what I'm trying to say. I hope he goes down. Wouldn't it be hilarious if the QAnon stuff... Like, the QAnon stuff isn't real, obviously, but wouldn't it be hilarious if it turned out a bunch of GOP members legitimately were, like, tied into sex trafficking on a grand scale? Similar, but of course not the same to how QAnon people think the Democrats are, but if Republicans actually were, that would be hilarious is a bad word because there would be a lot of victims involved, and that's terrible, but, like, the irony would be unbelievable. There will be no such pictures because no such thing happened, but really on March 16th was when this got going from extortion standpoint, Gaetz said. Gaetz has previously sparked controversy over repeatedly commenting on Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's appearance, calling the New York Congresswoman, quote, attractive multiple times, and once referring to her as the attractive lady from Queens. That's gross. She's your colleague. Stop it. Gaetz developed a reputation in the U.S. House of Representatives for often bragging to colleagues about his relationships with women, sources told ABC. Upon his arrival to Washington, sources said Gaetz was often seen with young women at various social events, including at the Trump Hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue. Gaetz previously told Axios, the allegations of sexual misconduct against me are false. When asked what the Department of Justice probe could be about, he added, quote, I have definitely in my single days provided for women I've dated. You know, I've paid for flights, for hotel rooms. I've been, you know, generous as a partner. I have a feeling that doesn't extend to eating the box. I think someone is trying to make that look criminal when it's not. It is criminal if they're underage and you're sleeping with them. Fun fact. Yeah, that is not the face of a generous lover. Let me tell you that. Anyway, off to the next article. Matt Gaetz' communications director resigns as congressman faces allegations of sexual misconduct. Luke Ball, the communications director for Congressman Matt Gaetz, resigned from his position on Friday amid allegations that Gaetz had inappropriate sexual encounter with a minor and a reported investigation into alleged violations of federal sex trafficking laws. This investigation didn't start under the Biden administration either. This started under Trump. So any chud who's like, this is a political thing that Biden's DOJ is doing to Matt Gaetz because he was an ally of Trump. No, this investigation actually started under Trump's DOJ. So, wrong. The office of Congressman Matt Gaetz and Luke Ball have agreed that it would be best to part ways, Gaetz' office said in a statement. We thank him for his time in our office and we wish him the best moving forward. Ball has worked for Gaetz since February 2017, according to his LinkedIn profile, starting as an intern at the Pensacola, Florida district office and working his way up to become communications director in November 2019. Last year, Ball also founded Right Life Media, a social media marketing company. The resignation came in the wake of scathing New York Times reports saying Gaetz is under investigation by the Justice Department for possible violations of sex trafficking laws. The Times said he'd also been accused of having inappropriate sexual encounters with a 17-year-old girl. Whom Matt's purportedly paid to travel with him. The Justice Department is investigating the situation, including whether Gaetz paid to have sex with women who were recruited online by former Seminole County, Florida tax collector Joel Greenberg, according to the Times. In response to the story, Gaetz' office issued a statement saying the congressman has never paid for sex and refutes all the disgusting allegations completely. Matt Gaetz has never been on such a website whatsoever, the office said. Matt Gaetz chair, blah, 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 blah. We read that in the previous article. Gaetz has called the allegations against him an organized criminal extortion, and he claimed in March 30th tweet that a former Department of Justice official was demanding $25 million and threatening to smear his name. We have been cooperating with federal authorities in this matter, and my father has even been wearing a wire at the FBI's direction to catch these criminals. You know how I know this is bullshit? Because if your dad was wearing a wire for the FBI, you wouldn't say it on national TV. Jesus Christ. The planted leak to the FBI tonight was intended to thwart that investigation, Gaetz said. No part of the allegations against me are true. Justice Department inquiry into Matt Gaetz said to be focused on cash paid to women. This is a New York Times article. A Justice Department investigation into Representative Matt Gaetz, an indicted Florida politician, is focusing on their involvement with multiple women who were recruited online for sex and received cash payments, according to people close to the investigation and text messages and payment receipts reviewed by the New York Times. So the New York Times not only has sources within the DOJ that are telling them about this investigation, but they've also provided receipts. So this is not just an allegation that someone said something. They have reviewed physical evidence of text messages and receipts for this supposed crime. Just saying. Like, you can say what you want. That's pretty damning. Investigators believe Joel Greenberg, the former tax collector in Seminole County, Florida, who was indicted last year on a federal sex trafficking charge and other crimes, initially met the women through websites that connect people who go on dates in exchange for gifts, fine dining, travel, and allowances, according to 3 people with knowledge of the encounters. Mr. Greenberg introduced the women to Mr. Gaetz, who also had sex with them, the people said. So Matt Gaetz' defense, which is irrelevant anyway, since the girl in question is purportedly underage. So any defense goes out the window. That's illegal. But regardless, the idea of a site where it's like a sugar daddy, sugar baby, explicitly stated, like, I will date you for gifts and favors, like, that's, I would imagine, kind of legally dubious, considering prostitution or sex work in general. That's actual, like physical person to person. I'm not talking about, like, someone who's, like, a performer in adult content or has, like, an OnlyFans. I'm talking about, like, someone who actually, you know, is a, what's the correct word for someone who sleeps with people for money? I don't, because sex worker is a broad term. And I feel like prostitute is probably an outdated term. So I don't want to, an escort? Escort? Sure. Let's go with escort. Being an escort, having sex for money is illegal. Now, to be fair, I don't think it should be. I think if you're an adult, man or woman or whatever, I think you should have the right to do whatever you want with your body, as long as you're not hurting other people. I don't think sex work should be criminalized in any way, shape, or form. But the fact is, it is currently, and he's a sitting member of Congress. So, not great. One of the women who had sex with both men also agreed to have sex with an unidentified associate of theirs in Florida Republican politics, according to a person familiar with the arrangement. Ooh, please be DeSantis. Greenberg had initially contacted her online and introduced her to Mr. Gaetz, the person said. Gaetz denied ever paying women for sex. The Justice Department inquiry is also examining whether Mr. Gaetz had sex with a 17-year-old girl and whether she received anything of material value, according to 4 people familiar with the investigation. The sex trafficking count against Mr. Greenberg involved the same girl, according to 2 people briefed on the investigation. Yeah, that's where I'm not clear on the legality, like, you obviously, for legal reasons, can't go to someone and be like, I would like to pay you money to have sexual relations with me. Here is $500. Sleep with me. Illegal. But where's that line, right? Can you go to someone and be like, I will give you a diamond necklace to sleep with me? I imagine if you explicitly say something along those lines, that's probably solicitation. But how subtle would you have to be for it to get into a gray area? I don't know. I don't. Either way, the allegation is that she's underage, so that's a no-no, no matter what. Gaetz, 38, was elected to Congress in 2016 and became one of the President Donald J. Trump's most outspoken advocates. The Times has reviewed receipts from Cash App, a mobile payments app, and Apple Pay that show payments from Mr. Gaetz and Mr. Greenberg to one of the women, and a payment from Mr. Greenberg to a second woman. That's cash. That's definitely illegal. The women told their friends that the payments were for sex with the 2 men, according to 2 people familiar with the conversations. In encounters during the 2019 and 2020, Mr. Gaetz and Mr. Greenberg instructed the women to meet at certain times and places, often at hotels around Florida, and would tell them the amount of money they were willing to pay, according to the messages and interviews. Oh yeah, that's definitely considered escort services. One person said that the men also paid in cash, sometimes withdrawn from a hotel ATM. See, again, I'm not advocating for whatever, but like, this is what you do. You get cash from an ATM. Why in the world? This is like that time Jerry Springer got caught soliciting a sex worker because he paid with a personal check. Like, what? It's like people want to get caught. Some of the men and women took ecstasy in a legal mood-altering drug. Thanks, New York Times. Glad you explained what E was. Before having sex, including Mr. Gaetz, 2 people familiar with the encounter said. In some cases, Mr. Gaetz asked women to help find others who might be interested in having sex with him and his friends, according to 2 people familiar with the conversations. Should anyone inquire about their relationships, one person said, Mr. Gaetz told the women to say they had paid for hotel rooms and dinners as part of their dates. The FBI has questioned multiple women involved in the encounters, including as recently as January to establish details of their relationships with Mr. Gaetz and his friends, according to text messages and two people familiar with the interviews. No charges have been brought against Mr. Gaetz, and the extent of his criminal exposure is unclear. Mr. Gaetz' office issued a statement on Thursday night in a response to a request for comment. Quote, Matt Gaetz had never paid for sex, yada yada, same statement as the previous articles. A lawyer for Mr. Greenberg, Fritz Scheller, declined to comment, as did a Justice Department spokesperson. It's not illegal to provide adults with free hotel stays, meals, and other gifts, but if prosecutors think they can prove that the payments to the women were for sex, they could accuse Mr. Gaetz of trafficking the women for, quote, force, fraud, or coercion. For example, prosecutors have filed trafficking charges against people suspected of providing drugs in exchange for sex, because feeding another person's drug habit could be seen as a form of coercion. It's also a violation of federal child sex trafficking laws to provide someone under 18 with anything of value in exchange for sex, which can include meals, hotels, drugs, alcohol, or cigarettes. A conviction carries a 10-year mandatory minimum prison sentence. Wouldn't it be funny if Gaetz went to jail for 10 years? The investigation stems from the Justice Department's continuing inquiry into Mr. Greenberg, who potentially faces decades in prison on 36 charges. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Central Florida initially secured an indictment against Mr. Greenberg in June, alleging that he had stalked a political rival and had used his elected office to create fake identification cards. During the investigation, the authorities discovered evidence that prompted them to broaden it, and Mr. Greenberg was indicted in August on sex trafficking charges. One of the sites the men and women went through was called Seeking Arrangement, which describes itself as a place where wealthy people find attractive companions and pamper them with, quote, fine dinners, exotic trips, and allowances. The site's founder has said it has 20 million members worldwide. The FBI mentioned the website in a conversation with at least one potential witness, according to a person familiar with the conversation. Mr. Greenberg was indicted this weekend on additional charges, accusing him of submitting false claims to receive pandemic relief aid from the government and trying to bribe a government official. The authorities said Mr. Greenberg undertook those efforts after he was initially indicted last summer. I wonder if Greenberg will flip on Gaetz. It seems like he's facing a lot of charges that they probably have pretty solid evidence for. So I wonder if they'd give him a little bit of, I don't know, a little bit of a deal if he were to flip on Gaetz. Greenberg, who has pleaded not guilty to the earlier charges, is scheduled to go on trial in June. He was sent to jail in March for violating the terms of his bail. Gaetz said this week that his lawyers had been in touch with the Justice Department and that he was the subject, not the target, of an investigation. Subjects of investigations are often witnesses or people who might have information that could help the government pursue its targets, but it is common for that designation to shift over the course of an investigation. Yeah, I would imagine so. I only know that it has to do with women, Mr. Gaetz said. I have a suspicion that someone is trying to recategorize my generosity to ex-girlfriends as something more untoward. Mr. Gaetz, a lawyer, was first elected to the House of Representatives, representing the Florida Panhandle at age 34, son of a former president of the Florida State Senate. Gaetz attended Florida State University and William & Mary Law School before serving in the Florida State Legislature. Gaetz has sought to divert attention from the Justice Department investigation by claiming that he and his father were the targets of an extortion plot by two men trying to secure funding for a separate venture. The men, Robert Kent, a former Air Force intelligence officer who runs a consulting business, and Stephen Alford, a real estate developer who's been convicted of fraud, approached Mr. Gaetz' father, Don Gaetz, about funding their efforts to locate Robert A. Levinson, an American hostage held in Iran. They suggested to Don Gaetz that Mr. Levinson's successful return could somehow be used to secure a pardon for Matt Gaetz if he were charged with federal crimes, according to a copy of their proposal provided to the Times. Oh no. Soon after, Don Gaetz hired a lawyer and contacted the FBI. Matt Gaetz said his father wore a wire and taped a meeting and a telephone conversation with Mr. Alford. An email exchange between Don Gaetz' lawyer and the Justice Department provided to the Times appears to confirm he was generally cooperating with the FBI as it looked into his claims. Sure, cooperating doesn't mean the same thing as the wire thing being true, but that would be interesting. Mr. Kent denied the Gaetz' assertions. He said he had heard rumors that Matt Gaetz might be under investigation and mentioned them only to sweeten his proposal. I told him I'm not trying to extort, but if this were true, he might be interested in doing something good, Mr. Kent said in an interview. Last year, the Trump administration notified the family of Mr. Levinson, a former FBI agent, that he had died while in captivity in Iran, where he disappeared in 2007 on an unauthorized mission from the CIA. But some people involved with the Levinson case continue to believe that he might still be alive, including Mr. Kent. He was stunned when he heard that Matt Gaetz had sought to tie the Justice Department investigation to an extortion plot related to the Levinson case. Quote, "He threw Levinson and the entire Levinson family under the bus," Mr. Kent said. "I can't imagine what these poor people have been through. This guy, to divert attention from himself, has ranked up the attention of the family." Don Gaetz also taped a phone call and a meeting with David McGee, a Levinson family lawyer, where they discussed the rescue proposal. In an interview, Mr. Gaetz denied any involvement and suggested Matt Gaetz was conflating the matter inappropriately with his own potential criminal liability. Quote, "He's trying to distract attention from a pending tidal wave that's about to sink his ship," Mr. McGee said. Interesting. Interesting stuff. Yeah, Fed's investigation of Matt Gaetz includes whether campaign funds were used to pay for travel expenses. Yeah, you don't want to fuck with campaign finance law either. It's one of the things they got Tiger King on. Remember Tiger King? Yeah, the whole Matt Gaetz situation is really messed up. It's gross. If he did do these crimes, and it seems like the FBI, or sorry, rather, the Department of Justice has evidence to that effect, I really hope he doesn't get a slap on the wrist. I hope he actually serves justice, or justice is served in this case. Also, Matt Gaetz is a huge piece of trash, so if he could go away for about 10 years for criminal activity that he did, that'd be cool. That's all I have to say about it until more things happen, but we'll keep an eye on it. One sec. I'm talking very quickly, apparently. We built this city. Ba-na-na. Ba-dum-bum, ba-na-na-na-na-na. Built this city. Okay. Oh, bits messages. We got a couple. Rebel Spies, thanks for resubscribing for 3 months in a row. Matt Gaetz really truly wanted to be Trump, huh? Guess so. RTK142 says, "Okay, I have to bow out now because my mother needs something. Then I will be further infiltrated. I will be further infiltrating the Dems. Have a great, insert everyone's appropriate time of day. Live long and prosper. Peace and long life." Hope you have a good one. Thanks for stopping by. Tucker White says, "So basically Matt Gaetz' time in Florida was the plot of American Pie Beta House." That I've not seen it. That one. Sorry. Mike Mack says, "If Tucker Carlson is try his best to distance himself away from something, you know it must be really bad. And this guy who protects anything conservative." Yeah. One, Abigor 2, thanks for following. Visual Vintage, thanks for following. Bardlock Moses with 100 bits says, "Got an appointment for my Moderna shots this morning. Congratulations. Mine is Friday." Tetralt J, thank you for following. And now we are all caught up. So, Kaitlin Bennett, our favorite, fascist, I don't know, whatever, monarchist, she's a monarchist, which is kind of like fascism, but you get to wear a cool crown. Anyway, she has Twitter beef with Lil Nas X, who you might know as the, I don't mean to make, this the headline here, but it's pertinent to the story, openly gay rap artist, recently did the Satan shoes thing that freaked out a bunch of conservatives because they took the bait. Did the Satan music video thing recently. And got in a Twitter fight with Kaitlin. So let's take a look at how that went, shall we?
Welcome to Liberty Hangout Uncensored. We have this is very fitting for Liberty Hangout Uncensored today. We're going to talk about Lil Nas X, but it's not what you think. It's not complaining about his music video. It's telling you guys how he threatened to rape my father.
Oh, she is saying that is absolutely not what he said, but we'll get to that when she gets to that part.
And I'm not joking, and you're probably...
No, you're just misrepresenting the situation entirely.
Probably not surprised that someone like him would do that. He responds and...
So she tweeted, "Do you still see your dad?" Racist comment. And then he says, "Yep, and I might F yours." This is a typical, like, your mama joke, basically, or your dad joke. It's a silly, immature joke, like, haha, I'm gonna sleep with your dad. But never in the history of, like, your mama jokes or jokes like this that just sort of flip the parent. Never is it implied that it's not consensual. So stop it, Kaitlin. The implication is that your dad will want to sleep with Lil Nas X. That's how these work.
Says, "Yep, and I might F yours."
Just a little bit of the backstory about what the hell is going on. This guy, Lil Nas X, came out with a new music video no more than 2-3 days ago where
They're still talking about this shit. They're still talking about this. I've never heard a single Lil Nas X song, and he has provided me with more entertainment value than any musician in the last 5 years. Specifically because he's so good at baiting conservatives. He's a black guy who's also openly gay and is using satanic imagery. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful how freaked out he makes them. Is that Caitlin's husband? I believe so, yeah.
performing sexual acts on Satan.
Yeah, and then he murders Satan. Shouldn't you guys be like, yeah, Lil Nas murdered Satan? But you gotta focus on the fact that he gives Satan a lap dance.
And then after that video, when that wasn't enough to poke the bear, he starts a...
I've not heard Old Town Road. Every time I say I've never heard a Lil Nas song, everyone's like, you've heard Old Town Road? No, I haven't. I've not heard that song.
Sneaker line of Satan shoes that have human blood in them.
So, his response is to threaten to rape my father.
Kaitlin, that's not what he said! Even a little bit!
And there's articles out there that are like, oh, you provoked him into threatening to rape your dad.
He didn't threaten to assault anyone! He did like a joke that's like, haha, your dad wants to sleep with me. You know, like jokes work? Are you gonna ignore the fact about the racist comment you said to him initially? Now let me be clear. If Lil Nas had said something to that effect, that I'm going to assault your father in that way, or anyone, it wouldn't really matter what was said to him first. That would still be an inappropriate comment. But that's not what he said. That's not what he said at all. You're completely mischaracterizing it. And on top of that, ignoring the fact that you were like a racist asshole first? It's kind of weird.
You're gonna play the victim? It's like, I was telling Justin this. Go ahead.
And then people like Cassandra Fairbanks that were standing up for you and trying to point out, okay, imagine there were people trying to say, oh, that's not a rape threat to say I might f your dad.
It's not. It's not. It's not. I understand your dad is probably a straight guy, and I assume he's going to say here, well, my dad's not gay. He wouldn't consent to that, which is probably true. But that's not the point. That's not usually how, like, your mama or your dad jokes tend to be. It's not about that. He's insinuating, like, your dad would want to bleep me. That's part of the comeback. It's part of how that interaction went. You were there for it. You should know.
Because, you know, he didn't explicitly say, I'm going to force him. What if it's consensual? Cassandra Fairbanks pointed out, imagine this same situation in any other context. What if he said, I'm going to F you.
Yeah.
I'm going to F your sister.
Yeah.
I'm going to F your daughter.
Yeah.
That would be...
People do make that joke. People do often make that joke.
Yeah.
Anyone else would perceive that to be a rape threat.
If you...
Not necessarily. It kind of depends on the context.
Ever went after...
Because we know what it looks like when that does happen. Sargon, even though he said the opposite, but also Sargon's a piece of shit, so...
The people who went after me, if you personally said, oh, you're gonna make that stuff about my wife, I might f your mother or something. I might have sex with your mom.
Yeah, people do that. I do think it's immature, for the record. I think it's an immature comeback, but it's a Twitter argument. Don't go on Twitter and get in an argument if you're not ready for some really, really immature shit to go down.
You would be probably investigated by the FBI because you're a white male.
Mm-hmm.
And you're...
all these white men being investigated by the FBI for jokes on Twitter? You have a source on any of that?
Straight. And how dare you say that about a woman? So that's the point that Cassandra Fairbanks was making.
Right.
I highly recommend everybody to go read the Gateway Pundits article by
No thank you.
Cassandra Fairbanks. Funny. It's funny, and it kind of just lays it all out there. It's just so weird. But just like in the video that we uploaded here yesterday on Case Unsafe Space, on that little section on the site here at Liberty Hangout TV, I spoke for a good 5 minutes explaining how the left, when they want to go after or try to embarrass or try to shame right-wingers, the first thing they think about is sex.
Interesting assertion. Go on.
And just degeneracy. That's the first thing they think about is, I'm going to think about this person in a sexual way, and then I'm going to post it and try to make it seem as if I'm not the one that should be embarrassed, but I'm going to embarrass them by thinking of them in a sexual way.
I'm not even sure where she's getting the concept here. I definitely don't think that's the case.
And that's what Cassandra Fairbanks even pointed out is what he's lying about, talking about this whole thing, is exactly what I said in that episode. I highly recommend going and watching that. I talk about revenge porn.
It's like clockwork with these people. You tweet out,
Are you comparing him tweeting that he's gonna sleep with your dad as an insult to revenge porn? Hyperbolic is the word that comes to mind.
blocked by this guy. So he has to tweet about your private parts.
Exactly. That's the weird thing. Of course he's obsessed with what's in my pants.
Poop?
He's obsessed with what's in everybody's pants, of any gender. That's what he's about. That's what
He's a
they are all
disgusting,
about.
perverted
I mean, he's gay. I don't know if he cares what's in your pants, to be entirely honest.
freak.
Yes, that's entirely what the left is about. Perverted freaks. I like that. He's a disgusting, perverted freak.
She's really mad she lost this Twitter fight and that she got ratioed, huh?
That's what they all are. And I know some of you might, they're not all like that, but yeah, okay, they are. I just don't care anymore. I just don't care to be nuanced about this point.
About this point? Oh, she was showing discretion before? Yikes.
Because I feel like he's getting, at least on the internet, and this is an important thing that I have to remind myself of a lot, is if you were to go to the average American person and show them this, they would look away in disgust.
What's that Blazing Saddles bit where he's like, these are people who are the salt of the earth. These are small town farmers, idiots.
In anger, in disbelief. But on the internet, it's super cool. Some other people worth noting that chimed in and was really gung-ho about Lil Nas calling me pants. Kathy Griffin, which we all know, a failed comedian because she got so much backlash for, another degenerate person.
I think there are other reasons Kathy Griffin is a failed comedian, but, whatever.
Was provoked into this. Beheading somebody, and then
she didn't actually behead somebody. She did a photo shoot where it was her posing with a fake severed head of Donald Trump.
Agreeing with someone who wants to rape my dad. I'm not shocked. Can't say that.
Again, misrepresenting the conversation entirely.
A beauty YouTuber named Manny MUA. I think it stands for makeup artist. A dude putting makeup on his face. All right, good. I'll take it.
There were some other drag queens going after you.
Drag queens?
I showed you. There was a guy that was a cross-dresser in New York. What's so funny is
that your whole commentary on them is just they happen to be drag queens? They think that's a biting insult? Cool.
Just a couple weeks ago when we went to the beach to do our street interviews, you guys know that video we did where she was interviewing the real hefty psychologist that didn't know what a woman was. Actually, the thumbnail of her, because she had her her giant things just pouring out
Her
there.
boobs. You can say boobs.
Her boobies. YouTube took down the thumbnail for nudity.
Yeah.
But they're going to allow and probably promote this.
Oh, it's probably trending on YouTube.
And they also, and then one of our other videos from the beach, they age restricted.
Yeah.
They age restricted our interviews at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Is his music video age restricted?
That would be.
It might be. I don't know. Let's look. I can't play the actual video, obviously, for DMCA reasons, but let's see. What's the name of it? I don't know. Well, no. I don't know the name of the song, but I'm sure it'll pop up. Here we go. Montero. Doesn't look like it's age restricted. This is probably the censored version, though. I don't know, though. Let me look. I mean, this is the video, so I'm sure this is still him banging Satan or whatever, but... Where does he actually bang Satan? Typical music video shit. There's that. Yeah. I haven't seen this. I haven't actually watched it. Yeah, and then he kills Satan, and he becomes Satan or something.
Interesting to find out.
We'll have to find out.
Yeah, well, we're gonna look into that to see if it's age restricted. Even Cardi B says, "I don't let my children watch my own music videos."
Yeah, they're not made for children. If you're a parent, it's your responsibility to monitor your child's media intake. There are things made for adults. You know that, Kaitlin, right? Like, there are a lot of things made for adults. Mightiest Quinn, thank you for raiding. Welcome, raiders. We're looking at Kaitlin freaking out about an argument she had with Lil Nas. Go check out the Mightiest Quinn's channel.
You guys shouldn't let your children watch mine either if you don't want them to.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Have some accountability. Isn't that the entire point of, like, conservatism, is having personal accountability for yourself and for your children, and not blaming everyone else the fact that you can't parent correctly?
Okay, fair enough. And she says, my music is not for kids. Don't let kids listen to it. He specifically said, I'm glad and it's okay that children are watching this. There is a difference between saying, I'm not going to parent your kids.
I don't know the quote on that one. I don't necessarily agree. I think anything that's kind of like that is probably 13. Once you're about 13, maybe you can watch that shit, but I don't know.
I want to make music and express myself. Keep them away from it. That's not what he's saying. He's saying, yes, that's my audience. Yes, it's okay. I want them to listen to it.
Listen to it's probably fine. The music video's a little risque with the lap dance stuff. Like, I feel the same about the WAP song, right? I don't have kids though, so. Oh, that's the end of the video. Oh, Kaitlin. Imagine being that excited to be near Ted Cruz.
My name is Kaitlin Bennett, and I'm the most
So, that's what Caitlin's up to. Basically mad she got ratioed on Twitter, so. Good times. Let's move on, shall we? Bits messages. Empty the Tank says, take these bits as a token of my favor. Thank you. Whistle034, thanks for the 100 bits. Bitter Grin says, I hadn't heard any of his songs except Old Town Road before this. Now I've listened to all of them on Spotify repeatedly. Antipodian Squid, tier 3 for 11 months. Wowzers. It's been almost a year, baby. Thank you. I appreciate it. Distant Red with 20 bits says, Chuds are saying something outright racist. It's just a meme. Chuds after somebody who makes a yo mama joke. This man wants to R-word my mom. Yeah, they're not consistent. Pyromancer says, she is so intentionally obtuse, it's frustrating. Yeah, being that wide open is probably how all the poop came out. Towing24 says, given the history of hyper-conservatives getting caught with rent boys and cruising in bathrooms, Kaitlin is making a huge assumption that her dad wouldn't have sex with Lil Nas. Mike Max says, Kaitlin, conservative, the left only cares about sex. Also Kaitlin, conservative, all Democrats are pedos. Pyromancer says, Kaitlin poops on video, she doesn't get to call out anyone. Stonecore Bell says, it's hilarious that they think the left cares more about what's in your pants than the right. Who is it with all the bills outlawing trans healthcare right now? Yeah. Squid says, the left are, quote, disgusting, perverted freaks. The left aren't the ones wanting genital inspections of kids to confirm gender before letting them in bathrooms. Mightiest Quinn, thank you again for the raid. Stephen J. Neptune Man says, I'm confused. Aren't conservatives against censorship of any kind? No, they're against them being deplatformed. They absolutely love deplatforming people they disagree with. Morak, yeah, there we go. Morak Benioff with 20 bits says, as a Satanist, that Lil Nas vid is, yeah, I don't care. It's an art. If you kill my deity for your art, whatever. Stonecore Bell says, he said that, quote, kids were his audience like a year ago in some other completely different context. He's more recently said along the lines of, quote, it's not my job to make content only for your kids. You're in charge of what media your kids watch. Yeah, understandable. Urban Heat says, I wouldn't want my children watching her poop her pants. Yeah, I wouldn't think so. R. Wester V, thank you for extending your tier 1 through May. Altered Rin made that, by the way. So Tate has just some short videos. I thought we'd shotgun them back to back to back and see what Tate's been up to.
We are filming in my cigar lounge. It's not yet complete, but this is a room in my house that's going to be specifically for cigars. It's a cigar lounge. We got.
I thought you had that before. You've made videos where you've talked about your cigar lounge before, unless you've been working on it for over a year, but okay.
Oak on the walls. We've got very expensive liquors. Not that I can tell the difference. Like whiskey, I bought a $1,000 bottle, bought a $20 bottle.
That's a waste of money. Just saying.
Tasted the same to me. And that's going to lead on to the following point, that how the only water I drink is sparkling water, because sparkling water is for rich people.
I am rich, therefore I must have tiny bubbles in my water.
And I'll tell you why. You can get non-carbonated water, still water, from the fucking tap. The government gives you...
I've had sparkling water. I hate it. I really, really do. I don't like the texture. I don't like the... I don't like it. I associate that bubbly feeling with, like, flavored drinks, and I really, really don't like it without any flavor.
Do that shit effectively for free. Yeah, but the bubbles. The bubbles? You scared of bubbles, you little bitch?
I don't like bubbles. Hey, Tate, remember that time you took a skydiving class and then bitched out? I remember. Here's him in an expensive car that he's ruining the tires of for an ad for his website. I do find it funny, too, that he thinks sparkling water is, like, super expensive or something. Like, I could go get some sparkling water at the grocery store. I just don't like it. This is him unboxing a diamond watch that's probably incredibly gaudy.
Hey, Andrew, how are you? How are you? Nice to meet you, Jay. How are you? How are you? Hey, how are you? How are you? We're recording for you. Well, have a seat. Good to meet you, man. Would you like a coffee, water, something to drink? Coffee. Yourself? Please. Black, milk, sugar? Like me, brown, strong. How was your try? How was your flight? Yeah, it was good, man. It was good. It wasn't too bad. Did you over here so quick? What time did you get in? 2 a.m.? Yeah. I came in from Istanbul. Okay. I flew last minute, so I got here about 2 in the morning. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I got in, but I had to come get the watch, right? So, of course. And it's ready. You want to see it? Let's do it. I think you make the coffees. I'll get the watch. You make a better coffee than me. Right? So this morning. Yeah, 2 o'clock last night. Yesterday morning, I decided, you know what, time to bail on Istanbul. I'm not a big fan of Istanbul. Really? Goodbye's goodbye, right? Yeah. So here we are. So just some free stuff as a cap. Amazing. That's your paperwork in there. Amazing. Travel case. Good. Perfect. Thank you. Here is. You want to unbox it or do you want me to?
I don't know. This feels pretentious to me in just the worst way. If I ever had this much money, first of all, I hope I never have this much money. But if I did, I would not be wasting it on this shit. I just... feels patronizing. I feel... I don't know. When you're this rich and you're buying something expensive, the way the person who made this is talking to Tate just feels patronizing. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
All you do, you're a professional. So we'll record it. We'll record the professional unboxing.
Okay, cool. So this piece, obviously, is crazy. There's limited numbers. You can't find them. Yeah. The skeleton is super rare, and soon this might be discontinued, and the price is just going to go through the roof. Okay. We had one piece. I know you messaged me. You said I want it. Yeah. Straight away, done. Flew in, picked it up.
Yeah, I think. You know what? Before you open this, I was thinking from your perspective. It must be weird to have some random guy on Instagram. You must get this all the time, right? I want this watch, then you're like, yeah, and it's a waste of time.
You know what's crazy? We get people that like waste time. Message, I want this, and then never hear from them. And then you get people that go, okay, cool, I'll take it, and then just wire you the money. Just like you did. So you can never,
voice. Right,
the difficult thing is you can never really tell. Yeah. And like, it's different levels of money to people, right? So like, the money that you pay for this watch is a lot of money. To some people, it's unimaginable. To some people, it's small. So it's like different levels. Some people like, and you get people that won't wire you $200. You get people that are just like, well, I've just sent you 300. So it's crazy. So here is what you've come to see. VVS diamonds. G.
That's actually better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be, don't get me wrong, first of all, it's a men's watch, which, but like, this could have been worse. This could have been worse. I really like you can see the internals. It being all diamonds is still pretty gaudy, but in terms of gaudiness, there are worse ways to be this gaudy. Does that make sense?
Color. Over 2,000 stones set by hand.
Wow. I think I'll attract a little bit of attention.
That being said, this is a huge waste of money, and no one should ever buy something like this.
No? A little bit.
It's so crazy.
It's beautiful.
Like it?
Yeah, man, it's really beautiful. It's gorgeous. I was looking for something completely unique, right? That's how I came to you guys. I was like, I want something completely.
I mean, it doesn't. No offense, but it just looks like a rich person watch. I don't know if I'd say it's unique.
Yeah, I can buy a gold AP. You're in Monaco. You're at the table. Everyone has a gold AP, right?
Exactly.
So it's like.
Exactly. So like this, you will probably not see anybody with this watch ever.
I'm sure I won't.
Like the watch without diamonds, you don't see anyway. But with the diamonds and the quality of our work, you probably won't see. So obviously with this.
So wait, did they not even make the watch? They just bought the watch and put diamonds on it? Oh.
You have 1 year warranty on our diamond setting. So like if you're ever unlucky and lose a stone, we fix free of charge.
Amazing.
It hardly ever happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. It's over 20 carat of diamonds gone into this watch.
Wow.
To make the same arguments for hats. It's true. It's true though. I'm not spending as much money on hats as he is on this watch.
Can we see the backside, man?
Yeah. AP. Always pimping, right?
Always pimping.
Always pimping.
Or they say always paid as well. That's the
Always
other
paid?
one. Always paid.
I can take that one. Either one will do. It's
In
fine.
here you have our warranty card as well. Amazing. And at the bottom is your actual AP papers. So you have the serial number for the watch. Tells you about everything on there with the watch.
Take left-handed?
So we'll size it for you as well in a minute to make sure it's the right size.
It's not far off.
But yeah, we'll size it. Maybe
One, yeah, one.
Depending how tight you like it.
So I live in Romania, right? So when I'm walking around Romania with this on, they're gonna be like, "What the?"
No one's going to take the watch off you, right? I've seen some of your videos.
Oh,
No one's
I've
taking
got
the
a
watch
few moves left. I'm retired now, but I've got a couple left. I've got good friends to call. That's better.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Oh, Tate. All his music, I hate it.
Spare a thought for everyone locked down, working from home in a shitty Western country.
You know what? I have a genuine view. My view of the world is simple.
Baha says 100% those are lab-grown diamonds that did not cost them hardly anything to get. They totally scammed him. Diamonds aren't even rare. Maybe. I thought lab diamonds tend to have a yellow hue to them. Or maybe did they solve that problem in the last 10 years or so?
The weak have always been crushed. It doesn't matter whether it was a religion or an ideology or a skin color. The weak have always been subjugated and crushed. This is the law of humanity.
I agree. I think diamonds are a scam. Like, Baha and I have looked at, like, engagement rings before. And I specifically looked at ones and picked out ones that I just like, you know? Like, they have amethysts in them because I like the color purple. But don't spend a bunch of money on diamonds or a diamond ring or anything. Just if you like a piece of jewelry and you can afford it, get it. If not, fuck it. Don't buy diamonds just because it's tradition or whatever.
Right? So when I look at people who continue to put on their mask and have not yet awoken to the fact that COVID is a scam, continue to comply, it's a scam, continue to the COVID is a fact that COVID is a scam, continue to comply, and sit in their police states and obey. All I see is people who deserve to be destroyed. This is the human way. If you're an idiot and you'll allow people to treat you like a slave, you'll end up a slave. Anyone with a brain has run away by now. There's a few places left in the world, one of them happening to be beautiful sunny Dubai, where you don't have to stay at home with a mask on and be afraid to hug your own wife.
That's never been a thing during lockdown. You're allowed to, like, hug and touch people that you live with.
All this crazy shit. These people deserve what's coming to them. It's slavery, it's nothing less. And you know what? Death is not the worst thing you can hope for. Death is not the worst thing that can happen to a man. Slavery is the worst thing that can happen to a man.
Wearing PPE during a global pandemic is literally slavery. Okay.
And if you're going to allow yourself to be a slave without thinking, you know what? They've taken so much from me. They've taken my job. They've taken my freedom. They've taken the future financial security of my children. I have nothing to lose by standing up and rebelling. What do you have to lose? And you still stay at home with a mask on. Then you deserve what happens to you. You deserve it.
Tate's calling for violent insurrection. Great.
Hey, bro. What time is it?
Oh god, it's his ugly watch.
It's hard to see.
This is an entirely different watch. This one actually is pretty ugly, but that's just my opinion.
To the diamond.
I can't fucking see the time.
It's hard to see. I don't know.
What's the point of a watch you can't read?
I don't know.
Let me talk about, yeah, good point, Squid. Let me talk about how masks are slavery while I have fucking conflict diamonds on my wrist, you piece of shit. God, I hate Tate. Pyromancer says diamond toilet. Stephen J. Neptune Man says Tate is basically doing the old $1 Million Man gimmick from WWF, except Ted DeBiase knew people would hate him because of the gimmick, and I don't think Tate is that self-aware. Chaotic Star Whale, thanks for subscribing for 4 months. MMO Addicted to 20 Bits says, if I could have any watch in the universe, I'd want this. And there's a link. It's a replica of the original, but it's intricate enough for me to get lost watching Gears. Let me see if I can find that link. Oh, that's pretty cool. I know there were, hold on, steampunk watch. I know I saw some pretty cool ones at some point that I want for like D&D. Oh, this one's awesome. I love this. This one's really, really expensive though. It's like a series of belts. That's low res, unfortunately. It's a series of belts that does the time. Again, this is a man's watch though. I saw this originally when I wasn't out, so. But some of them are pretty cool. But like for D&D, I'd love to get this as a prop or something. They're pretty neat. Freaking Out 99 says, F engagement rings, get me some engagement dice. Squid says, wearing a mask is slavery, meanwhile people in African diamond mines. The Distant Red with 20 bits says, he rebelled by leaving the country. And Nick says, the solution is to make anti-maskers work in the diamond mines. Nick says, those watches look like Rule 34 for robots. MMO Addicted says, the origin of that was made for Marie Antoinette. There's only one reproduction in the world, and it costs a couple million due to the super complicated self-winding mechanism. That's a shame. Okay, let's try and watch, probably as our final video for the day, Terrence Pop, Conspiracy Theorist, Chud, MGTOW, all sorts of awful things, probably dooming.
All right, everybody, Terrence Pop here with another episode of Live from the Lair. And today, we're going to go over some of the craziness that has ensued over the past several years and what is picking up steam ever since the stunning and brave Totally Fair erection that we had in November. We all know...
Hold on.
Brave Totally... And what is picking up steam ever since the...
Every time. Every single time. Na, 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 na.
Stunning and brave Totally Fair erection that we had in November. We all know where this is going. There just needs to be that one large catalyst event that's going to kick this whole thing off.
Every time he's chomping at the bit to murder some people. I'm telling you, we're gonna see a thing in the news in the next 2 years that this idiot has killed a bunch of people. It's gonna happen. I'm calling my shot. He's at 1.25 speed right now, so.
Right now, there are a lot of people who are really pissed, and they should be, because they've watched their country basically being stolen from them without even...
You lost an election. Fairly. Chill the F out.
Shot fired. Okay, and there are a lot of people in the middle who just want to say, fuck it, I just want the world to keep going. I don't care anymore, just...
He talked so slow. 1.5 speed is like normal.
Move it along. Until that mass of people in the middle get negatively affected to the point where they get pissed off, probably not going to see a lot of movement. Okay, now I'm just going to go over some of the shit here that just popped up into, the top of my head over a lot of the past live streams we've done and Lair videos that I've covered. You know, I was going to do, you know, one of my Prepper Pop videos for the Lair, but I decided that we, you know, just so you know exactly, you know, from a bird's eye view, looking down exactly what's taking place here in the tapestry of this country.
The war on the West is no longer about men or women. It's about the ideological subversion of Western minds by foreign actors cloaked in a public relations friendly outfit called feminism.
Feminism is coming to turn your kids into communists. The horror.
Join the fight against the destabilization of our very civilization by reading Surviving Fourth Wave Feminism. Learn some inconvenient truths by clicking on the link in the description, because every time you do, a pansexual non-binary socialist cries.
All right, so number one here, with the election that took
Hype Train, nice,
place in November. Listen, it's obvious to all that watched it that this was like blatantly rigged.
No, you lost because Donald Trump is one of the least popular presidents in modern history. Like, I get it. He's got a really big cult fan base. Like, millions and millions and millions of people voted for him. I get that. We're a very divided country right now. But he lost. He lost because he's a huge piece of shit. As it turns out, that's not a great political strategy long term. Who would have thought?
I watched the video from the My Pillow guy. I went and all.
Oh no, he's also listening to Mike Pillow. Ooh, we're already at level 2 of the hype train.
All the evidence that, you know, he covered it.
Evidence. Other people have debunked the Mike Pillow thing, so I don't know if I'm gonna at any point, but
a large majority of it. I did see some of it myself firsthand, and it's quite shocking. And Biden put it right. He said it perfectly when he basically admitted they had put together the best election, you know, fraud scheme. And
he's talking about the clip where Biden is talking about his anti-voter fraud team, and Biden's like, we've put together the best voter fraud team in the world, that being his anti-voter fraud team. And every single one of these idiots is like, they admitted it! They're a voter fraud team! They're an anti-voter fraud team, you idiots.
In all of the history of the world. And he would be correct, because it happened at a lot of different levels. All right, now, they did this in plain sight. Okay, so what does that tell you? When something is done in plain sight, they no longer give a fuck if they get caught. Plain and simple. You no longer fear, you know, justice or the law or anything. You can just do it, and nobody's going to do anything about it. All right? And why is that? Well, we saw that our judicial branch looks the other way, and they don't give a shit.
No. Everything was on the up and up. And also, the lawsuits that came up didn't have standing. So as it turns out, if you're going to have legal conflicts, you should make sure that you're in the right, which you weren't.
Listen, when one state takes another state to the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court says you don't have standing.
Yeah, they don't have standing because they were trying to dictate how another state ran their elections, which they're not allowed to do. It was pretty clearly explained in the statement by the Supreme Court. And also, tons of lawyers explaining it after the fact. And before. I think Legally Eagle even had a video before that actually went to the Supreme Court that said, like, this isn't going to work. You don't have standing to do this, so.
That's exactly what that is. And every motherfucker in the Supreme Court and all the federal judges, in my opinion, are traitors.
Many of them are Trump appointees.
Sold out a long time ago, and it doesn't look like they're going to change anytime soon. We now have the problem of lifelong politicians. Our stunning and brave president.
One of them was literally put in by Trump, like, months prior. Like, what? Frustrating. 15% of the level 3 hype train.
It's been there for 50 fucking years. And a lot of the problems we're having now, he actually implemented and supported during his crazy wazoo career in government. And until we change this, there's really not going to be a lot of movement on this, okay? And it's getting to the point where the only way you're going to be able to change it is the very bad things that I really don't want to see happen, but my gut is telling me we're heading down this road.
Hold on.
Okay, change it. Is be a lot of movement on this in government, and until we change this,
promotes terrorism, implying people should murder federal judges. Jesus Christ. Batty Bell, thank you for gifting 10 subs to the community, getting us to 31% of the level 5 hype train.
There's really not going to be a lot of movement on this, okay? And it's getting to the point where the only
If the FBI doesn't already have a file on Terrence, they really need to get one.
way you're going to be able to change it is very bad things that I really don't want to see happen, but my gut is telling me we're heading down this road. Okay, another thing, you have appointed positions that have way too much power. There's absolutely no way an appointee for the FBI should be able to challenge the president, challenge the Senate.
You're against checks and balances now? You think the Senate and the president should be above the law? Great.
Defy subpoenas, what have you. It is absolute horseshit. All right, and then
oh God, Mr. Blast says this guy's got to be the dumbest moron in history. You're wonderful. I see why Baja is also so based.
It's not just the FBI. The CIA, it has its own goddamn army. Just so you know that. They have their own army and their own air force, which they use to mass effect in other countries. The NSA, they listen and record every single cell phone, transmission in this country.
Okay, and that was enabled by the Patriot Act that was pioneered by George W. Bush, who was a Republican, so...
They don't have enough people to go through it all, but they're doing it. You have the DEA, the ATF, and the IRS. The IRS has been weaponized against political adversaries in the past. I don't see that changing, okay, because the individuals who run all this are appointed, and they have way too much fucking power. This is a problem.
That's how it works. They're branches of the government that work and report to the executive branch, and they get appointed. That's how it works. Trump also had appointees in these positions.
All right, we have the President of the United States now living in a fortress surrounded by fences, barbed wire, armed guards, and a small army. So
yeah, because they keep getting attacked. The Capitol was attacked again, literally earlier this week. A guy drove a truck into the barrier and killed a cop, one of the DC police, and injured another.
So there's been...
If lunatics would stop attacking the Capitol, they could stop doing it. That'd be great.
Basically a call to have National Guard troops stationed there 24/7, 365 with no end in sight. You want to know who does shit like that? Who needs that?
People who are getting constant death threats from people like you? Probably.
It's this kind of shit around their president. And
we're at 50% of the level 5 hype train with a minute and a half left.
So forth. Banana Republic countries do that. Communist countries do that.
Communism! Wrap it up, folks. He said the thing.
And it happened right before your very eyes. Just let that sink in. All right, you have media and big tech pushing straight propaganda, and they're all owned by 6 corporations. So you gotta ask some questions like, why the fuck are these 6 corporations doing this?
Oh, so now you have a problem with capitalism? Interesting.
Why are they pushing this propaganda?
Communism is bad, but so is the direct results of capitalism. All right, what's your solution? Oh, his solution is insurrection attempts. I remember now. 86% with a little under a minute left. We might actually get to level 5. We're very close.
All right, there's a lot of people out there who are absolute lazy idiots. You think you're real smart.
Like people who sit in their basement and make conspiracy videos for a living and are drunk the whole time. I know, those people are the worst.
But in the information age, if you don't educate yourself, you're a lazy idiot, and you're doing it by choice, okay? We've covered this in nauseum. How you can get a story, and it could be completely different from one set of individuals, media outlets, and then, be completely different.
We did it! Level 5! Thanks, everyone.
In another set of media outlets. Where's the one or 2 outlets that are just telling it how it is and allowing you to make your own decision?
AP. AP is a really good news source. A lot of other news sources actually just run with stories from the AP wire and investigate further. It's great. They just literally report the bare facts. There's as little editorializing as possible. Of course, there's always going to be some editorializing when you're writing out a story, but AP's really good for that.
They're almost non-existent now, and the only place you can find them is basically on Alt Tech and YouTube. And
the only unbiased news sources are clearly Newsmax, obviously.
Like small guys like me who don't really have any great following, so they just
oh, Terrence thinks he's a truth teller. That's sad.
Just ignore us, and that's the truth. I mean, you have Louder with Crowder. He covers everything. You know.
We need more unbiased news sources like Steven Crowder. Oh,
truthfully, and granted, he's a conservative, but listen, when he gives it a fair shake, and you don't get that from the liberal side or the propaganda side at all. All right, we now have in this country the FISA courts, which are a secret court issuing warrants that people can't even fucking see. This completely goes against the Constitution of the United States.
Again, Patriot Act, friend. Sorry, that's definitely. And to be fair, not only Republicans voted for the Patriot Act. Let me be clear about that. I think even Biden voted for it. The United States got really, really crazy after 9/11, and a bunch of people did really, really shitty things and voted for the Patriot Act. Just saying.
In every way, shape, and form. But nobody's doing anything about it. Hell, they even spied on Trump before he was elected. They were caught red-handed, issuing...
There's a reason this man's kids don't speak to him anymore and why his wife divorced him. Has he mentioned his kids don't speak to him anymore? If so, that's great. I'm very happy for them. And yeah, that's probably definitely why his wife divorced him.
Warrants based on something that was completely...
He did? Good.
...contrived and cooked up, and nobody's done shit about it. All right, that's where we are, just covering this side of the board. It is absolutely fucked up. Moving over to the other board now. They're talking about doing away with the filibuster. All right, and they've actually passed this new election laws, which is basically guaranteeing...
Fuck the filibuster. Nuke it from orbit.
...the Democrats to never, ever have to worry about being, voted out of power. They want to do some crazy-ass shit. We're going to cover that. We also have the President of the United States issuing edicts, which are basically laws by executive order.
Because Trump signed no executive orders.
Which are not supported by the Constitution of the United States.
Oh, so I'm sure you were very against all of Trump's executive orders too, right?
United States. All of the governors, most of the governors in this country put out lists of what was essential and what was not essential during this whole pandemic bullshit, fiasco, lie. Can someone...
There's another bannable thing. Hold on. There's a lot of report-worthy stuff in this video.
All of the governors, most of the governors in this country put out lists of what was essential and what was not essential during this whole pandemic bullshit, fiasco, lie. Can somebody tell me where in the Constitution of the United States or any Constitution of any of the states where the head executive has the power to tell you what you can and cannot do with your business, your money, and your motherfucking lives?
Sure. The part where you can make laws and then use those laws and enforce those laws. That'd be the one. Glad we could clear that up.
Where is that? It doesn't exist. They're going to raise the fucking taxes against an economy that they've allowed to...
Biden is going to raise taxes on people who make over $400,000 a year. I'm guessing that's not you, Terrence.
...stagnate and die. There are millions of people out there who are months behind in rent and mortgages. Half of the small businesses out there are shut forever. The big businesses, the billion-dollar corporations who paid their fair share into the government, they weren't affected. But
yeah, it's not good. They need to do more stimulus checks and have it go from the bottom up instead of trying to pay top down. I agree.
Those big billion-dollar corporations can't hire enough people to fill a gap of all of the small businesses out there. So now you're going to have crushingly high taxes, unemployed people, and then you're going to have all of these people who are basically without a place to live because of a pandemic basically served up to cause nothing but fear.
No, actually, hold on. U.S. COVID. We'll look at deaths and then we'll look at cases because both are relevant. We're at like 555 1,000 deaths, so over 500,000, and 30 million cases. Those that survived are having severe issues still with their respiratory systems and other stuff, reducing their quality of life. This is like a tenth of the population, Terrence. This isn't nothing. 1 in 10 people caught this shit, and it's potentially going to wreak havoc on their quality of life for the rest of their life. Thanks.
If it was so deadly, the homeless populations across this entire nation would have been decimated.
Because homeless people hang out with so many other people?
Absolutely wiped out. Because diseases affect the elderly and the weak, and those at the bottom rung who can't get health care, who don't eat.
I would imagine a lot of homeless people probably have died of it too. I doubt there's many good statistics on it though, considering, you know, they're homeless, you die in the street somewhere, very sadly. Probably not going to get the best autopsy, let's say. They're probably just going to deal with it.
Eat properly, don't have shelter. Those things all lead to huge pandemic problems. They've been virtually untouched. Why is that? Because you've basically been fooled. It's a bunch of bullshit. I know I keep saying that, but it is. They want to push this new Green Deal. They've already shut down the pipeline and put like 100,000 oil workers and fossil fuel workers out of work.
Oh my God, hold on, I'll do that in a second. No, the people who were building the pipeline were contractors. So that job ended, and now they're going to go work on another job because that was always a temporary job for them. And then I think the actual number of people who were going to be permanent workers on the pipeline was very, very low. So it's fine, and it's also for the best, so that's good.
So we've seen gas prices go up a little bit over $1 since the election.
That's because, oh boy, gas prices were low for a variety of reasons over the past year and a half or so. Initially, at the beginning of 2020, there was some conflict, I think, between OPEC and Russia. So they were doing sort of a price war thing where they were driving down the price of oil to screw with each other until they could come to some sort of agreement, and to my knowledge, that's been resolved, so they're putting the prices back up to market value, and probably above. But also, during the past year, people have been driving less, there's been less demand for gasoline, so the price has been down. I don't know if you know about this thing called supply and demand, but maybe take like a Econ 101 class and they'll explain it to you. So now that things are starting to open back up and people are going back to work in person and vaccines are a thing, the gas prices are going to go up because there's more demand for gas.
And I don't really see them going down. I'm envisioning them getting to $5 within a year, year and a half.
Like how they were under the Bush administration? I remember that.
And then slowly climbing until they reach right.
And that was not even without inflation. It was $5 in some places.
Right around 10. $10 a gallon to drive your car. So all the people out there who have, you know, a car that gets less than, 30 miles to the gallon are going to be forking out a large portion of cash just to buy gas. And you're going to see hyperinflation because 40% of our entire money supply has been printed in the past year.
Yes, which would be a Trump thing, right? Because Biden didn't get in until January 20th, right? So that would be the Fed and Trump, if you're concerned about that.
That's a lot of money floating around out there, and what is it going to do? It is going to destroy the value of the currency. So, you know, you had $1.5 million in your 401k, but, you know, you're forking out $2,000 a month to pay for gas and, you know, $2,000 a month to pay.
If you have $1.5 million in your 401k and you want me to cry for you for literally any reason, you can suck a dick. You can suck a dick. You can suck a dick. Suck it. I have $1.5 million and now it's worth less. Okay, sorry.
Pay for food.
Now my $1.5 million is only worth $1 million. Okay, that's a lot of money. Good for you.
Utilities, another $2,000. Medical costs are going to go through the roof, and so is insurance. How long do you think your $1.5 million in your 401k is going to last?
Again, you know, all of us here who just have $1.5 million sitting somewhere, very normal.
Not long. All right, so at the end of, when it's all said and done, you won't have money. Even if you had money, you couldn't afford it to feed your kids, heat your house, or go to work. Okay, that's the Green New Deal in a nutshell. It's basically they're backdooring communism.
Yes, I remember when Marx was like, hey, what if we transitioned to renewable energies and got electric cars? Okay.
Which has failed everywhere it was put in place. And all of you who say, no, we're just doing socialism or democratic socialism.
The Green New Deal isn't even that. It's literally just a government program to incentivize green energy and jobs in that sector. This has literally nothing to do with socialism or communism in any way, shape, or form.
Well, listen, socialism is basically communism for stupid people. It has failed everywhere it was implemented, to the tune of hundreds of millions of lives between 19...
Is he implying that communists are smart then? That's interesting.
1901 and 2000. In 100 years. We fought a world war over it. I mean...
Wait, what? We fought a world war... World War II wasn't about communism, Terrence. World War... The communists helped end World War II. Who do you think took Berlin? What? The ignorance is hurting me psychically. If this were Pokemon, I'd be taking psychic damage.
It is absolutely insane. They want to remove your guns. All right, now, historically speaking, after this is done, millions of people are killed because they can't defend themselves. Happened in Germany, happened in Russia, happened in China, Vietnam, Cambodia. Those are the top examples. Look them up for yourself. It's absolutely insane. And the only thing that is actually blocking a lot of this shit from happening at breakneck speed is the fact you have so many people in this country who are armed with weapons, okay? They want to get rid of the assault rifles because they can compete with the weapons of the army.
They literally can't, though. I hate this argument. I hate this argument. You could have a full auto machine gun. Everyone in America could have a full auto machine gun, and it wouldn't matter a second if the government decided to start killing its citizens. The government has nuclear weapons, so have fun melting to death with your rifle you spent thousands of dollars on.
And in all honesty, the Founding Fathers put the Second Amendment into place because they knew that given enough time, every country and every government that has ever existed has gone off the rails. And it is up to the civilian population to put it in check and keep that from happening, or to stop it or reverse it. Those are facts, I'm just saying. Now here's some other things that they're trying to do here. They're shutting down fossil fuels, so just let that sink in. A large majority of this country, their homes are heated with natural gas.
Again, which is why the Green New Deal incentivizes industries and people to change that and give subsidies in order to convert things whatever.
You drive your car, which runs on gas. Public transportation runs on, gas. Airline.
It depends on the public transportation, I guess. There are certainly things that run on electricity. That's the entire point, Terrence, is the Green New Deal is trying to transition things over into renewables. That's the point? That's the point. You're literally illustrating the point.
Gas of some type. Okay, so what are you going to do to replace all that? All right, even if it runs on electricity, that electricity comes from coal-powered plants for a majority of it.
Again, which is why they want to build more renewables. For instance, between here and Baja's house, I drive back and forth for my electrolysis appointments and to see her. There's a big solar farm getting built. This is the point, is to transition away from stuff like coal power plants or natural gas power plants over to things like hydroelectric, solar farms, wind farms, nuclear, stuff like that. That's the point, is that you take what we have now and you transition away from that to a better solution that's better for us and the environment and our long-term survival. That's the point?
The wind and the solar, yeah, that's good, but it's not cutting it as of yet. Look at Texas. They want to push the no.
That happened because Texas officials have their power grid completely cut off from the rest of the country because they wanted to avoid federal regulations. For instance, winterizing your wind turbines, which they refused to do as a cost-cutting measure, and then when it came for the winter storm to happen, it fucked over a bunch of people in Texas because they were cheap assholes avoiding federal regulation. Fun.
Meat option because of, methane gas and so forth. And
aren't there some wind farms out in the thumb? Yeah, there's a wind farm out somewhat close to my parents' house.
A lot of people are really going to get upset at that, especially when shit gets really expensive. Okay, I myself like to eat meat. I earned a place at the top of the food chain, and I...
Did you? Because your wife left you and your kids don't talk to you anymore. That's not very alpha of you, is it?
Tend to enjoy it. Maybe I'll die sooner. So what, I don't care. I'm on the 65 and out plan anyway. All right. They want to try the forced vaccinations.
I've not seen a single politician actually say they're going to do any sort of, forced vaccination thing. I wouldn't mind if they did. Mostly because I'd get so much content for this show, it would be beautiful. At best, I could see them doing some sort of tax incentive, like if you get vaccinated and have paperwork showing so, you'll get a rebate on your taxes or something the next year. But I don't think they'll literally do a mandate where you have to.
Okay, now if you are paying attention to the stats of the CDC, which I do, you will see that they are quietly going in there and fucking with the deaths of COVID.
No, they're not. That's a conspiracy theory.
Because the deaths of the people dying of the flu and actual viral pneumonia has gone way down, and they've been replaced with all of these COVID deaths.
People have less instances of the flu because people are social distancing and wearing masks, which is helpful for any airborne virus, you idiot.
Which they are now quietly reversing because it was nothing but a power grab, mainly fear. I myself, I caught the coof. I didn't even fucking know it. I didn't find out I had it.
Why is it always people like him who end up having, almost no symptoms? Seriously. Really? The universe isn't just.
Well, I did a physical, and they found out that I had the antibodies floating around in my bloodstream. A lot of people have that. Just saying. They want to remove the cash and go to some kind of digital kind of platform. Step out of line.
Who carries cash, you fucking boomer? Get a debit card.
Or you piss somebody off.
Yeah, he could be lying too.
They turn off your fucking money. They're doing that in China right now, and are basically the Democrats and the liberals think it's a good idea. China was welding people into apartment buildings. Whole city blocks were starved to death. You don't hear any of that in the media. They don't want to talk about that, but that's what...
The media is pretty anti-China, actually.
The Democrats and the liberals want to happen here in America.
All rhetoric about China I ever hear is negative things, which I'm not saying isn't, right, considering how shitty the Chinese government is, but, that's already the cultural narrative about China right now, so kind of weird.
They're pushing feminism. All right, now...
Oh, no, not feminism. Can't have women being allowed to make their own choices.
I could go on for an hour talking about this, but I'm just going to cover it quick. Your power lines, put in place by men. Your gas...
No woman has ever worked for a utility company. You can't prove otherwise.
Lines, put in place by men. Your sewer, put in place by men.
No woman has ever worked for a sewer company. For the government, the municipal sewer people.
All of that is maintained by men. Who puts in your roads? Men.
I've literally seen female road workers.
Your bridges, men. Who builds the buildings? Men. Who works the foundries? Men.
He's literally describing the effects of like slanted gender roles and then saying we don't need feminism. He's very confused.
Who works the mines to dig up the ore to go in the foundry, powered by the fuel, which is coal, to make that all work? Men. All right, this whole feminism bullshit is exactly what it is. Because a lot of these women buy into the lie when they're in their late teens. They live by this dogma until they're in their late 30s.
This goddamn dogma of women wanting to be able to choose what they want to do with their life. I liked it back in the day when they were considered property. Oh, shit.
They turn off your fucking money. They're doing that. Your bridges. It's not cutting it. So now a lot of these women buy into the lie when they're in their late teens. They live by this dogma until they're in their late 30s. And then they realize, wait a minute, I don't have any kids. I don't have any family. I have my career. Yay, but that's not cutting it.
Wait, do you think feminists don't get into relationships? What are you talking about? I think most people who self-identify as feminists are in relationships.
So now we have a whole rash of binge-drinking, middle-aged, older women taking all kinds of head meds.
As opposed to Terrence, who is a middle-aged alcoholic man who's single, which is much better because he has a penis.
The stat I keep using is 1 in 4. That's from 10 years ago. I bet you it's 1 in 3 now. And it's not getting any better. And then all of the measurements they do about happiness, women's happiness, it just keeps going down into the toilet.
Everyone's happiness is down. Economic inequality is the highest it's been since, like, before the Great Depression. People are miserable. Like, the government's shitty, society's shitty, and stacked against most normal people. Things are bad, Terrence. You're certainly not helping the situation.
Their suicides are going up. Wait a minute, who else is unhappy and commits suicide en masse? Men! Well, welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. It's a bunch of bullshit. All this is doing is weakening us here in the Western world. All right, they're removing God, and they've done a pretty good fucking job at it, too. You want to know who else rubbed out God? China and Russia.
Communism killed God.
China, if you're not, using or practicing one of the state-sponsored religions at a state-sponsored area, you go to a concentration camp.
Yeah, that's terrible. Legitimately, it is. I think people should have the right to practice any or no religion that they want as long as they're not hurting people. Like, as long as, and when I say that, I'm not using some, like, oh, what does hurting people? No, literally, like, assaulting people or whatever, if it's a cult or something like that. People should be allowed to practice their religion. I agree. Authoritarianism is terrible.
A lot of those people are getting cut up for their organs. They're just disappearing. That is wronger than two boys fucking.
Whoa! That's not a saying people say, but okay.
Uyghur Muslims, they're getting gang raped. Their men are being killed. They're being forced to have kids to want to breed it out of them to get rid of them. And they're cutting them up for their organs.
What? Again, I don't know a ton about the concentration camps, but why would you, if you were trying to ethnically cleanse or genocide a group of people, why would you have them bred, assaulted? What? Okay, whatever.
And Walt Disney just congratulated China on doing that. I'm done with Walt Disney until they do a huge turnaround. Until that point, they're not getting a second of my time or a cent of my money.
That's a shame. Falcon and the Winter Soldier's pretty good. And WandaVision.
They want to there's a push to remove science and math because it's...
What can I say? I like my bread and circuses, folks.
It's white supremacy. When else in history did they rail against science and math and logic and reason? Oh, that's right, the fucking Dark Ages. When they're...
Did you just say you think white supremacy is science? Uh-oh.
We're putting people in Iron Maidens and burning them at the fucking stake, quartering people, cutting them up, starving them to death, locking them away in prison forever based on nothing. Nothing. That's where we're going. They want to remove your cars because, we got to save the atmosphere and save the planet, despite the fact our climate has changed. It always has changed.
Not at the rate it currently is. You're entirely wrong about that one. We're already in a mass extinction event, Terrence.
And it will continue to do so. There's really nothing we can do about it. If we really are serious...
You're literally wrong. You're literally wrong. Anthropogenic climate change is an existential threat to human beings. That's scary, but you gotta live in reality, man.
About curbing any kind of greenhouse gases and stuff. They need to really crack down on China. Or better yet, wipe out 5 billion people from the planet. We can easily do that, but a lot of people will be very upset.
Ironic Giant, I agree with your sentiment.
They're talking about giving everyone a house. Where are those houses going to come from? Are you going to take them away from people who worked hard?
Terrence, there are more empty houses in the United States than there are homeless people. We literally already have more houses than we would need to do that, you stupid asshole.
To have multiple houses, to have income property. They had the discipline to save up money for the down payment, to do the sweat equity. You just take those houses away and give them to people who did shit?
Yes.
Who have no discipline? No, I'm sorry. That's bullshit.
Discipline. All homeless people lack discipline. There's no other reason anyone could go homeless, you absolute ass.
Shit. Again, backdoor for communism. They want to
Communism is when you make sure there aren't homeless people.
forgive all the student debt. I'm sorry. You guys are weak-willed, lazy bastards. And you bought into a lie of going to college because you thought you were going to get this great job when you got done. All right? You didn't do your cost-benefit analysis. That's not my fault. Why the fuck do I have to pay higher taxes because you're a lazy, ignorant fuck? Why? You know what's going to happen, right? You're going to tank this country, and then you're not going to be so happy that you did. All right, now, last but not least, reparations. All right, now I am not a fan of this whatsoever because nobody alive today was a slave, and nobody...
Okay, Terrence, the repercussions of slavery and the impact that it has had on the African-American community did not stop the day that they were freed from slavery. I don't know if you know that.
alive today had any slaves. And if we start forking out all kinds of cash, who's going to fucking pay for that? Number one. Number two, when does it stop?
I don't know, we could start taxing corporations and the wealthy appropriately. That would be a good step one.
And then you're going to wind up, especially when you bankrupt this fucking country, not only are you going to wind up with bad shit, you're going to have people packing up, and you're going to have, race on race, and it's not going to be fucking pretty at all. Because historically speaking, white people are really good at organized violence.
Oh my god! Terrence is absolutely losing his mind. What the hell? Here's links. Here's links. Here's links. Links. Links, links, links.
We've almost destroyed the earth twice. We've dominated it over, 200 or 300 years. It's not gonna go well.
He just basically said that white people are gonna murder all non-white people, and he thinks that's okay.
All right, and these idiots are asking for it. All right, this is where we're fucking going. All right, and guess what? It's gonna pick up steam and it's gonna go even faster. Especially when people can't feed themselves, they fuck with the money, they do some bullshit like that. It's gonna blow up in people's faces. I hope that doesn't happen, but my gut is telling me we're well on our way. Anyway, that's my rant for the evening. I will try not to do this that often. Keep it down to maybe once every 6 months as new bullshit comes to light, and we can all get pissed off together. Take it easy.
Wowzers. FBI, will you please do something? That would be awesome. That would be real good, actually. So that's a horrifying video from a future terrorist. Fun. Let's do some bit messages and then we'll call it a night. DR Goth THC, thanks for subscribing with Prime. Nick says Terrence Poppin, Peter Hanna collab when. Princess Amelia says, this is why I love having Alexa in my flat. I can ask her anytime just to confirm, Alexa, who is the president of the United States? Mike Mack says, this guy is more drunk than the Irish and oh no. No, I'm not reading that shit. Come on. Tyosicle says, doing this since Twitch tells me hype inbound. Bardlock Moses with 50 bits. DM Trey, thank you for gifting a sub. Wagroads13, thank you for 100 bits. Nick with 24 bits says, quote, Western minds, foreign actors, end quote. Can anyone else hear the video over that loud whistling? Stonecore Bell, thanks for gifting a sub. Pyromancer with 20 bits says, take 2 at Hype Train. Princess Amelia, thank you for gifting a sub. Tea with Goblins, thank you for gifting a sub. Habitual Dodo with 30 bits. Converting the last of my bits into hype. Batty Bell with 100 bits says, I got vaccinated today, so celebration biddies. Congratulations. Princess Amelia, thank you for gifting a sub. Barbara Anna, thank you for 100 bits. Creeping Darkness says, Biden also recently made a speech and said the phrase New World Order, and yes, these kinda idiots did notice. I almost feel like you gotta troll them at some point, Barlog Moses says, I mean, you're pushing election fraud on YouTube, so I guess you don't give an F. Batty Bell, thanks for gifting subs to the community. Pyromancer with 20 bits says, if I was someone in the public eye, I'd drop all of the conspiracy trigger words, phrases. Yeah. Me too. Bardlock Moses says, yes, FBI, this is the guy I was talking about. Princess Amelia, thanks for gifting a sub. Bardlock Moses with 50 bits says, at least I heard the news say the word terrorist this time. Princess Amelia, thanks for gifting a sub. Pyromancer with 20 bits says, I declare communism! Distant Red, thanks for 25 bits. Bardlock Moses, thanks for gifting a sub. Princess Amelia, thank you for gifting a sub. Bardlock Moses, thank you for gifting another sub. Killjoy102 with 200 bits says, does this stop Trump songs for a week? I'm pretty sure there's a moratorium on Danzy. We're not doing Danzy anytime soon. A Colston of 20 bits says, do these guys not realize that even if they break up these tech companies and nationalize some of them, they'll still get banned because they're caustic to society? I don't know. I really don't. Bardlock Moses says level 5 bitches in relation to the hype train earlier. Nick Bush YPP says, it's like he wants what happened in Myanmar to happen here. Maybe if that happens, he and Peter Hanna can redacted to the purge. Loving one, thank you for following. Overthought with 50 bits says, everyone has the romantic idea of the filibuster from Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, when really it's just the biggest piece of political BS. Agreed. Bardlock Moses says, YouTube won't do shit because YouTube is trash. You're probably right. Nick says, this guy sounds like those idiots who wanted to kidnap the governor of Michigan and that he would have loved if they did. Yeah, he's very like that. He's a member of some militias, too. AKA domestic terrorist groups. Bardlock Moses says, LOL, homeless people can be some hardy mother effers. MMO Addicted says, how much is the gas in the States for 1 liter? Here, a liter is $2-ish bucks. Right now, it's like around here, I think like 250s, 260s. For a gallon, though. We go by gallons here. Nick says, he sounds like Lucille Bluth. Yeah, he does. How much could a banana cost? $5. Nick says, did Terrence Pop's grandfather fall off a guard tower in Germany? Stone Corbell says, you don't like capitalism, yet you exist. Bardlock Moses says, your assault rifle won't do shit to an unmanned drone or a single tank. And also, there's like 4 reasons for this video to be taken down, but it won't because YouTube is trash. Nick says, who the hell births the men, ya dingus? Nick says, complaining about feminists following dogma while he follows the dogma of Republican Jesus. Nick says, he's not wrong that it's wronger than 2 boys effing, but it is so putting your left shoe on your right foot. Stephen J. Neptune Man says, this Terrence guy seems to be one of those apolitical I just want to grill guys who got sucked into conservative politics through Facebook and is doing his best to repeat what he's learned and is doing poorly at it. Yeah, he's definitely in on the QAnon stuff. Toeen24 says, his alky brain is confusing and mixing Chinese acts of oppression. The organ stuff is happening to Falun Gong worshippers. The rest is against the Uyghurs. Ironic Giant with 100 bits says, what the F? Nick says, a lot of people will be upset if 5 billion people die, but a lot more won't because they'll be dead. Just saying. Nick says, of course I don't want 5 billion people to die, but that was a little dark humor for you. ChessX38, thanks for following. Morok Ben Eoth says, effing yikes, my dude. Marcus Drake says, the last known Atlantic slave died in the 70s. I wonder how many children of slaves are still alive today and would deserve reparations. Nick says, end of stream, end of bits. Thank you. Great. Do. Who am I gonna raid? Who am I gonna raid? Lots of people live right now. Tough stuff. Yeah, let's do Squid. All right. I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. I'm going to go hang out with a friend. And then tomorrow, Jake and I and Alex, I think, are doing a movie day. So, fun stuff. I'll be back tomorrow for Tinfoil Tuesday. Thank you. Why am I sticky for some bits? I appreciate that. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow for Tinfoil Tuesday. It'll be fun. I'll see you guys then. We'll look at some silly conspiracy theories and see what Peter's up to. Hint, he's not doing well. So I'll see you guys later. You're all valid, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.